And Jared and Russell, as the Blues come out. I saw them last week, Russell, and well, their second half was fantastic. They really should have beaten Essendon in the finish. A little bit stiff, and I was very impressed. In fact, with the Pearce came back to form as a goal kicker.
Look, that is a certain highlight from Carlton's point of view, but however, we must look at consistency, Peter, because Pearce is too hot and cold in the past. I think he's got to kick his 4 or 5 again today. But also, I think it's important to note that at least Carlton are on the improve. But David Parkin was very pleased at the way they threw themselves at the ball in that second half. Very, very aggressive around the ball.
Well, there's Craig Bradley, the captain. Lots of speculations before the game that he wasn't going to be playing, but obviously he is there. Barry Mitchell, former Swans best and fairest winner, and now one of the support staff of the Carlton Blues. Craig Bradley, number 21. He'll be part of a very experienced lineup here for Carlton.
Well, looking at the lineup at the moment, as Jared said, there was speculation that Bradley wasn't going to play. Peter Dean, I think, is going to be lining up on the bench. Peter, I think, what are your thoughts on his performance in the past couple of weeks?
Well, Peter's got a lot of courage. He's lost pace over the years, and he's obviously in there for experience, Russell, because it's such a young side. They've lost a lot of experienced players in recent years.
Lance Whitnell, Jared, very, very good last week in the second half. Kicked a crucial goal that maybe could have won it.
Well, they need to kick some goals. There's no doubt about that, Russell. Stephen Silvani, number 1, will he play at full forward or full back? We'll know shortly. And there he is, Stephen Silvani, along with Justin Murphy, who's back into the side after missing a couple with a hamstring strain.
My personal opinion is that guy, who is rated the best fullback of all time, should never move from fullback. I don't think he's a forward. I think he's a natural fullback, and they've got now Pearce up there and young Whitnell, and I would play Anthony Koutafidis at full forward where he can play on the burst.
Where would you play Whitnell?
Centre forward.
Centre forward, yeah.
And the Melbourne side bursting onto the ground, led by their skipper, Todd Viney, who in fact needs a pretty good game today. Been struggling a little bit, Todd Viney, and well, he may well even get the job on Brett Ratton, one of the match winners for the Blues. Jimmy Steins.
Probably the best way for Viney to get back into form is to really throw himself, and he's renowned for his tackling and his aggression around the footy, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see him under the packs today. So.
Peter, you are one of the great forwards of all time. Melbourne have got a magnificent forward structure.
Well, this will be where they win or lose the game, Jared. As we have a look at their lineup, you've got names like David Neitz, David Schwarz, Gary Lyon, and also young Jeff White goes down the forward line. Now, so on the other hand, Carlton have got the back line. They've got Sexton and Silvani and these guys who can cover them, but it's as good. Melbourne side is as good as any forward line in the competition, and great
Stephen Tingate.
Stephen Tingate back.
He's been missing for probably, I think, about 18 months with a very, very bad buttock injury. I'm not too sure exactly what happened there, Jared. Can you shed some light on that one?
No, I can't. I'll leave that all to you, Russell. But the midfield of Melbourne is perhaps their strength at the moment. They haven't got great names, but you keep your eye on Andrew Leoncelli, or Leoncelli as he's been referred to. Guy Rigoni, a first-year player, and good to see Nathan Brown getting a game, his first for the Demons.
And I'll tell you who has been in terrific form this year, and that is number 21, Stephen Febey. He has been in absolutely outstanding form, and their backline, even some of the guys like Marcus Seecamp and, of course, Anthony Ingerson, I reckon they've improved out of sight.
It'll be the Carlton Blues versus the Melbourne Demons shortly. Optus Oval, an important game for both Carlton and Melbourne. Carlton, of course, lost by 1 point against the Bombers last week. They'll be looking to gain some retribution there. But Jimmy Stein starting at full forward, Peter.
Yes, very...
In fact, he's
starting at the centre bounce. The umpire about to bounce it to start a very important game here at Optus Oval between the Blues and the informed Demons. Carlton kicking to left of screen. Craig Bradley back in the side. He won the toss. Jimmy Stein starting in ruck against the young up-and-comer Mark Porter. Centre of the ground, Todd Viney gets the first kick of the game down towards the half-forward line. Socket off the ground, Sexton tries to dive on it. Woewodin is there also. Dean Rice tries to crash his way through the back. Gary Lyon has a fresh air shot. Oh, that might be in the back against Hogg. Oh, another tackle from behind, and that one might be paid. And it certainly will be, and it looks like it's going the way of the Blues.
He's asking what for?
Well, Anthony Koutafidis not starting at full forward as
you wanted him to.
Well, I would, because he's a burst player. Now, Koutafidis, very important player for the Blues, to the half-forward line. Steins cops one across the neck from Whitnell, and a free kick to Jimmy Steins.
Well, Lance Whitnell was committed there, Gerard.
Yes, but Jim Steins comes up with the free kick. Starting on the bench for Melbourne, Nathan Brown, Craig Smoker, Robertson and Stephen Tingay back on the side.
Ingerson shot it to Woewodin, who was under a lot of pressure, kicks it high. Right half back for Carlton, and it's a free kick to Michael Sexton.
And for the Blues, the bench consists of Anstey, Locke, Hume, who was concussed last week and hasn't trained all week, and Peter Dean, the veteran.
Mackay kicks the ball to the wing position. Now it's all Melbourne running the ball with hands, slick hands to McDonald. Now they're running Hopgood through the centre of the ground, looking for an open forward line. David Neitz can't hold it. Silvani, Mr. Rubberman to Bradley. Speculation about his presence in the side today. Boots it up towards the centre wing. A lot of space. Carlton in front. Pearce, a long way out from full forward, coming off a bag full of goals last week. Now Hopgood. Good follow-up from the Melbourne defender. Midfielder, Neitz in front. Silvani, good pressure. Rigoni tried to spin around. Matthew Febey there to help. Leoncelli caught in front of the Carlton Social Club, all over, holding the ball.
Yes, just a bit slow getting rid of the football, Matthew Febey, but he was penalised, and a good turnover by Carlton. Some important matchups also. Seacamp on Brad Pearce, obviously pace for pace.
Michael Sexton racing through halfback, receiving from Hogg into Whitnell. Couldn't quite get her. Ingerson's been a surprise packet this year. He's been very, very good. So is Uze. And he's a very skillful player as he kicks on that occasion. Not a good kick. Was to the advantage of the opposition in Dean Rice. Oh, very cleverly done by Rice. And he bends it around the corner. Good play to Hamill. Half forward, way out there, almost on centre wing. Aaron Hamill, had no one to kick it to. Shanahan says thank you very much, and marks uncontested deep in that back pocket. Former Saint fullback, I personally think they might rue the day they let him go.
One of the best pickups, Peter, for the year, I reckon.
So Todd Viney onto Shanahan, a low trajectory kick to centre wing. Oh, free kick must go to Matthew Febey, centre wing.
Too high.
Craig Bradley starting on the half-back line. I think that's probably where he'll play a lot of his footy this season.
Phoebe's long left foot kick up towards the 50. Looking for Gary Lyon. Doesn't let him down with a great mark. One grab. Because they've missed him over the past 18 months. He's in and out of the side.
A big height advantage too on Andrew Mackay. Gary Lyon would be 6'3".
Speaking of height advantage, be bombing this ball down to Jeff White.
Well, it's going into the goal square as you called, Gerard. Big punch from behind. White can't mark. Now it's Ratton. Twice best and fairest for the Blues. Around the corner. Looking for Mackay. It's Gary Lyon in front. Gets the quick handball away. Finding Steins. Hands and knees. Shovels it out. But I think the ball has beaten everyone over the boundary line for a throw in. Left half forward for Melbourne.
Just saw one of the inadequacies at the moment of Jeff White's game. He's terrific game for the grabs when he gets a run and a leap. But in a body-on-body position, just not quite up to speed at the moment.
Yeah. Steins in front. Gets the tap down, beating Porter. Now McDonald's wrapped up by Hogg. Now it's shot out, I think it was Hopgood over to Febey. Quick left foot, Woewodin, bad bounce. Kutafiti's on the half-back line. Changes direction, looking for Ronnie DiUlio. If he can balance himself, he does beautifully. Swings onto the left foot. Bit of a worm burner to Matty Allen, a long way out from full forward. Shanahan, good pressure from the big ex-Saint backman. Wraps up DiUlio, calling for holding the ball. Applause for Shanahan. The Melbourne faithful, also the Carlton faithful, applauding Ronnie DiUlio. A bounce. Just the Melbourne side of Carlton side of centre wing. Umpire Mark Nash. Other umpires Chris Mitchell, number 4, and also Matthew Norton, number 16, as Febey tries to wrap up. Who's that on the floor there?
Justin
Murphy.
And I will let you know at this early stage of the match that I taught him, the umpire there, Matthew Norton, mathematics in Year 7 at Marsland College. Gerard, many years ago.
That reflects in his game today. Peter Steins gets the tap. Oh, now it's Bradley on the run. Original from Justin Murphy. Bradley, great vision. And the free kick will come, or the mark will come back to Brad Pearce just at the 40-metre mark.
I want to make a comment on that. I think he's very lucky to get that. I don't think he actually completed the mark. And I doubt whether
was it a mark or a free? Was it too high? We'll have a look.
I think he paid the mark.
Well, the decision was paid by Chris Mitchell, one of the most experienced men in white. And he paid it from behind. Mark Nash elected to keep out of the decision. He was looking from the front. So clearly Chris Mitchell saw it as plain as day.
Well,
important goal, this one coming up for
Pearce
the
will
Blues.
line up for the first score of the day. Just on a slight angle, might as well be directly in front. That big left foot of Pearce. There's number 1 for the Blues. Very important kick, as you mentioned, Gerard. Like, his consistency's been questioned over the years since his sensational season of '95.
Well, I don't think it's a form problem, though, Russell. He's had a lot of problems with that tendonitis of his knee, and this would be the first time in many years he's had a decent pre-season, and he is showing the benefits of being able just to train and train properly. But it came back, that goal, from an errant tap from gentleman Jim Steins, went straight to Justin Murphy, who handballed the ball onto Craig Bradley.
So Steins against Porter. Steins won that one. Or look at Viney trying to burst his way through. Camporelli underneath it. Viney again. Porter ratting off the ground. Good thinking. Quick kick was from Steve Febey up towards half-foot. Silvani at the back couldn't quite grab it. Quick hand pass comes out here to Schwarz. Further afield, Jimmy Steins. Will he do his little chip pass? He will. Oh, good lead. Gary Lyon, good play by Steins.
There's the quick, Matthew Febey was in there shepherding too, which allowed Steins the time to pass it off the line. It was excellent work from the Melbourne forward.
So Gary Lyon, a pretty acute angle, will kick from 35, but Steins doesn't kick long, but he's pretty accurate with his short kicking. Now this is a vital kick from this great Melbourne player. Out to the right, starting to swing. May not have swung back enough.
That's a great kick.
I think he just missed.
Sheesh.
Looked good off the boot.
And he is a very important player down there alongside Neitz and Schwarz. Certainly an enormous amount of talent. 3 tall players capable of taking marks. Silvani, in my opinion, Gerard, in his rightful position of fullback.
Yeah, and he's got a tough opponent in David Neitz.
So Steve Silvani going to bomb it straight down the middle, looking for Porter. It's flicked the ground. Ragoni, a quick kick down towards half forward. Taken away by Kuda. Fedey's caught. Just gets his hand kicked in midair towards half back.
Lucky to get away with that, Peter. Did he?
Very, because he didn't make contact. Exactly right. It's kicked out by Fraser Brown onto Dean Rise. It's on centre wing with Sexton. Sexton brings it in towards half forward. Whitnell, mark. Umpire said no mark. I thought he got 2 bites of it. Leoncelli gives it off. A further hand pass comes out towards Neitz. Now they've got the loose man going here to Schwarz. Schwarz will bring it in on a poor kick straight to Silvani.
Well, you'd expect a bit more from an experienced player like David Schwarz. However, Silvani off to Mackay. Now to Bradley. He's had a lot of the ball, Craig Bradley. As I mentioned, speculation about him playing today because Adam White wasn't in the reserves as Jim Steins, the Rock of Gibraltar for Melbourne, plays on to Viney. Seacamp, as Gerard mentioned, running off Brad Pearce. His pass is an excellent one to White through the centre of the ground. Elects to play on quickly, bombs it into the forward line. 1 against 2. Manton over the back, can't mark. Gary Lyon applying pressure on Silvani as well. Rushed his kick. Good play by Gary Lyon. Now McDonald, if he's clever enough, he can beat Rice. He is off to White on his left foot now. Poor kick, the luck's of fortune. As diving in front is Shane Woewodin, who takes an easy chest mark and will line up on a pretty difficult angle because he is a left footer. It's on his wrong side for the Demons' first goal. We've played just 8.5 minutes in this first term. Shane Woewodin had an excellent debut season last year. Leans back, kicks, looks pretty good.
Guilty.
The Demons are a point up thanks to Shane Woewodin.
Yeah, 7 plays 6 here at Optus Oval, and Woewodin, great conversion. It wasn't favoured by his natural kicking foot, but right at the moment I would have thought that Carlton looked the sharper side. They've had some good footy. They've played some good football, particularly in defence. They're really implementing a loose man down there to try and bottle up the key forwards for Melbourne, but they're struggling a little bit in their own forward half.
Melbourne's defence has been very good this year. Some underrated players there. Steins. Ragoni is a very promising young player. Gets it further afield. The running player is Anthony McDonald. Out wide, Kudafeti starting to get plenty of the ball early. Over to Silvani, a long way down from fullback. Chips it across, doesn't reach Sexton. Here's Ratton. Well, not on the full, that was. Out wide, beautiful kick. Fraser Brown will get better as the weeks go by, but on that occasion, some of the field kicking has been straight to opposition players, which is not good. Here's Adamuze, who's had a terrific year so far. Towards the centre of the ground, Ragoni again. Lovely kick out in front. White tries to use the body. Caught with it is Manton, puts it on the ground. That's holding the ball, in my opinion. Here's White again, very athletic. Tries to get in a hand pass. Manton again runs into trouble, loses the ball in the tackle.
Well, that is just a dumb decision.
Oh, goodness me.
He had the football, he jumped
Dropped
into
it.
And a nice tinge of ginger there.
That's right.
Glenn
He's
Manton.
been to McKay, Fraser Brown. Lovely kick. Pierce, very quick, will create problems down there for Seacamp with his pace. Playing a long way out from goal. He's looking down there for Allen. Again, a poor kick. And it drops in short. And Todd Viney, a nice, strong mark.
Just a feature of the game so far. There's been a lot of misdirected passes. One there straight to Viney. Didn't even give his forwards an opportunity of at least a contest. Now, here's another one. But that's a mark to Silvani, but maybe a poor kick by Viney. Looking for the David Schwarz lead. Now Sauce will show them how it's done. Straight to Fraser Brown, to the running Murphy. Carlton have missed him. Inside 50. Whitnell can keep his feet, does it well onto his left boot. Around the corner, this looks pretty good. But it's wide, just one behind. Whitnell kicked a beautiful goal against Essendon late in the final term to put them within a point at the MCG. It's a magnificent second half by Lance Whitnell, offering Carlton a lot up forward, a lot of movement and contests at the ball, which is very important from a forward's point of view. The kick in, strategy, as they work it all out. Straight to McDonald, close to the boundary line, just inside 50, left half back for the Demons.
So Anthony McDonald's kick, looking for Steins. He was just pushed away as he tried to take that mark, and the umpire calling for a throw-in. So Big Jimmy, given the, well, a bit of motivation, giving him that opening ruck knockout. A lot of people would have expected Jeff White to take it. Jim's been in pretty good form also, and the whole Melbourne side has. Here's Scott Camporelli. Back it comes from Ratton. Camporelli again. Fraser Brown caught. And the umpire allowing him plenty of freedom there, Chris Mitchell. And over the line it goes again for a throw-in.
And Craig Bradley has gone a full forward for the Blues, and he's been tailed by Anthony McDonald. Now he's interchanging with Pierce once again and going to push out onto a half-forward line.
So half forward for the Blues. Fraser Brown, a quick kick out of the pack, floats over the line, and a penalty kick down here will be taken by Adamuze.
Uze, left half back from Melbourne side. 14 minutes gone in this first term. Scores a level. Big Jimmy, great mark over Porter. Be very pleased with that one. Plays on quickly, it's a long kick looking for Schwarz. Pulls it down in front of Sexton. David Parker mentioned that Michael Sexton was down on form. Can't do his cause any better with Schwarz taking marks like that. A beautiful kick into position, finding McDonald in front of Dean Rice.
Great kick, that.
Good work from the Melbourne forwards.
And great running by McDonald. As I said only a minute or so ago, he was down deep in defence in his own defensive square. And all of a sudden he's run up probably some 150 odd metres, 135 metres to come up with a mark and a shot at the goals.
Directly in front. He'll kick from the 50-metre line. So to the Robert Heatley stand end. And Optus Oval. Quite overcast. Perfect conditions for football as McDonald leans back. A nice looking left foot. Land in the square. Big punch from Manton. Steins, clever work, bringing it back into play. Leoncelli, the backhander, hog off the ground. Now Sexton under a lot of pressure. Steins throwing his weight around. Now it's Leoncelli on the left foot, but it's deflected across the line for a behind. The Demons second. They now lead by a point. 1-2, playing 1-1. 8 minutes remaining in this first term. Rice wastes no time. Straight to Silvani. He's got players moving. One is McKay. Up in the air for Schwarz. Drags Mackay down. Maybe a professional free kick, as if he'd fallen down and Mackay had the run. He had a 50-metre paddock to take off.
Wasn't his best attempt, that one, David Schwarz. He had plenty of time to take the sit. Should have just gone with the two hands and taken the mark.
So this is Justin Murphy back in the side. Former Richmond player at the back. Ingerson, disciplined play. Tremendous to Liam Challey. A hand pass was intercepted. Bradley, Steve Febey, good tackle. Melbourne looking good. Quick hand pass comes up from Woewodin to Matthew Febey. In towards half-forward. Neitz flies. White is there. They need a crummer up around the half-forward line. Some strong work going on up there. And the tackle is on James McDonald. A little blonde-headed fellow there, and that was by Sexton.
Well, Neil Danaher started Craig Smoker, who kicked 4 goals last week, on the bench. He is that sort of player. He's the Jeff Farmer supplement or substitute. And I just wonder whether or not he'll hold him back for another few minutes and then throw him on.
Well, I'm with you, Jared. He is a goal kicker, and they certainly miss Farmer's nippiness up around there. Now, here's a free kick in that pack situation.
Too high on Camporelli, Peter.
And it will go to Scott Camporelli at half-back.
And he's been picked up and tagged by Paul Hopgood. Leon Chelley's got Ratton, and Viney and Murphy are on each other in the middle.
Ingerson again, disciplined play. Oh, the two Melbourne players collided there. It allows Hamill to grab this loose ball at half-forward. He'll probably centre it on. Very ordinary underground kick. Oh, look at Seacamp on Pearce. Good play. Uze, terrific play to come through that pack. Matthew Febey and Bradley, and I think he disguised that very well. He's quite happy to see the line there.
You mentioned Seacamp maybe short a bit of pace. He's very quick, Peter. That's why Seacamp's on Pearce.
Well, I'll tell you what, he'll want to be playing on Pearce.
Very quick player. We just saw Craig Bradley, the Carlton captain. Now it's Rigoni. He's getting a lot of the ball for the Demons. Kudafiti's in front off the ground. Through the centre of the ground, there's plenty of space. Hopgood, not a lot of time. Pressure from Hogg. It's good work from the Carlton tough guy. James McDonald.
Well, he's in a tough situation because he had to block the ball, but he's not allowed to drag it underneath him because Matthew Hogg was there sweating on him.
They've been dynamite on that in recent weeks, the umpires.
Chris Mitchell, the umpire. Good bounce. Porter, the big left hand, drags it down only for Anthony McDonald, his brother.
Oh, dangerous.
Now the Demons on the burst. Matthew Febey, the old 1-2, slips around onto his left foot. Now Woewodin should put this through. He has a chance to show us exactly what he's made of.
Oh.
And what does that tell us?
Well, he's made of a lot better stuff than that, Russell. It wasn't a great conversion. It was well set up by the Febey brothers, as you described them earlier in the call.
The freebies.
The Freebies. But that was certainly one that Melbourne should have converted.
May I say, a typical left foot hook shot, the old Peter Sumich hook shot. Here's Hamill. Bradley, they love Bradley. The Carlton supporters has a bounce in bombs and in towards Howard. Ingerson, another errant kick. Not from Ingerson, it was good play by him. Hopgood receives from Todd Viney. He's at, well, it was Liam Challey, in fact, onto Rigoni. Rigoni drives it to Jeff White. Now he's got the height. He's caught at the back though. Manton took front position. The Melbourne players, Woewodin, I bet he gets pinged for holding the ball.
No,
That's good umpiring.
He was behind.
Well, I wouldn't have pinged him anyway.
Well, you just said, I bet he gets pinged.
No, I said, I bet he gets pinged, but I didn't agree that he should have been pinged. Because sometimes when they making a genuine attempt, the umpire from behind pings him anyway, and that was good umpiring by Matthew Norton. Taken away by Sexton to centre wing. Finds Kudafiti's. Kudafiti's can chip it across here to Diulio, who can run on. Roddy Diulio going short. Oh, pressure put on down there by Seacamp. No push in the back, said the umpire on Pearce. Good umpiring. Oh, Rigoni, Seacamp.
Good work from Diulio.
Well, the good part here about Melbourne, they've got numbers at the bottom. Oh, Jimmy Steins kicks at 3 metres. He is a funny player, Steins. Murphy caught. Look at the pressure put on by Melbourne. Ratton bends it back again, Melbourne with the numbers. Ingerson tried to come out with it. Bradley, Fraser Brown's got it. Inside to Bradley. Bradley at goal from 40 metres. Great play by Fraser Brown.
Jared, that looked like the Melbourne of old. This little old habits die hard.
How old?
last year. The Melbourne of old, they were stuffing around with the footy on this half-back line.
Yeah, they were overusing the ball, but I think the problem, Russell, was that there was nobody down here another 50 or 60 metres to kick it to. There was a spare Carlton player. They may have been right, they should have gone long with the football, but it would have come back just as quickly. But there's no doubt that Neil Danaher will be concerned at their overuse of the football, and the turnover was absolutely costly.
Well, so costly that allowed Fraser Brown to lay off to Bradley, who put a beautiful running goal from inside 50. Now Brown again, starting to get a bit of the ball. Left foot over the top of Pearce. Now Shanahan, interception with Pearce on his left foot, trying to dance around, ducked his head. Seacamp pedals along the ground, and in the back, umpire Mark Nash will call it. Free kick to Marcus Seacamp. Yep, Matty Allen just used him as a beanbag. Over the top of Porter. Manton claiming the mark, play on's the call. Touched off the hands, is a nice looking kick. Now it's Dean Rice. If it gets a good bounce, he doesn't. It's just one behind for the Carlton side. It's their second behind. They're 2-2-14, leading Melbourne 1-3-9. The Blues now starting to show some ascendancy, using the ball a little better around their forward line.
And Jimmy Stein's just come off the ground, and Craig Smoker on Jeff White into the ruck. And I think that's been overdue that move, Pete.
Yes, they've had plenty of the play up there, and they've had the tall players flying, Jared, but they really have missed the small player as a farmer. Now, this is Liancelli at half-back, or Smoker, as you mentioned earlier. Liancelli drives to the half-back line. 4 players fly for. Gee, I am impressed with this guy. He's one of my favourites, Jared. I'm getting on his bandwagon. I reckon he has got enormous class out of Muse. I'll get him in the stateside by the end of the year.
Well done, Viney.
Todd Viney, terrific. On to McDonald, in towards half forward, a poor kick again, not directed to his forwards. Manton lets it bounce and roll through for a behind as big Matthew Allen comes off the ground and racing on as the evergreen, well, not racing on, ambling on, Peter Dean.
Velocity wasn't all that great, was it?
Then Manton finding Fraser Brown in the pocket. His well-directed kick, Dean Rice. Been one of Carlton's best in previous weeks. Finds the running Ratton off half-back. The Blues are starting to move the ball well. Punched away from Whitnell, now allowing Uze, Peter McKenna's favourite. Now a little chip left footer to Liancelli in the centre of the ground. Wormburner not high enough for Gary Lyon with a back injury. You need to lift them up higher than that, son. Now Sexton was trying to run away, but it's a free kick.
I thought he staged that, Gary Lyon.
Yeah, he did take a bit of a dive.
It's a
bit
dive.
of experience there as Lyon plays on quickly and finds Febey.
I'm not sure Matthew Febey was expecting that one, but he made a great fist of it.
But he's inside 50 now, directly in front, and will look to put the Demons second on the board.
Jared, the field kicking's been pretty ordinary, really, hasn't it?
In such perfect autumn conditions. No wind.
Phoebe's first game for the year. Straight over the top of the goal umpire's head.
Well, Gary Lyon, he's not the skipper any longer, so he's just going to have to restrict his instruction and conversation with the men in white. But there's a pretty nice shot at goal from Matthew Febey, back into the Melbourne side this afternoon. And, well, he's a pretty handy player to have coming back in. Just a couple of matchups in the Melbourne forward line. You've got Shane Woewodin, who's tagging at Koutafidis. White is being picked up by Manton when he's down there. He's now in the ruck, one-on-one against the big fellow Porter, and Andrew McKay is going with Gary Lyon.
So Melbourne lead by 2 points. The honours have been pretty even. Melbourne a very good midfielder, a lot of people don't realise. As it's kicked forward, right down towards the half-forward line. Terrific lead by Peter Dean, and it was a nice kick by Scott Camporelli. Hit him right on the chest. And Peter Dean, well, not noted for goal kicking, but he's got a chance from a 45-degree angle.
Wasn't a good take from the Blues out of the centre. Camporelli is an excellent kick. Got Dean.
So Peter Dean out to the right, trying to swing it back. He does so. It's a goal. The Blues in front.
Good for the confidence, Jerry, when you come off the bench and your first touch is a beautiful kick to the chest and then a goal.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Russell. He can play at full forward, Peter Dean. I don't think he's going to play too many games there, but he certainly, at his time or his age now, has just lost that little bit of yard in pace. So maybe he's going to just have to make a fist of it up in the forward line.
Well, the footy's back in the middle.
Kudafiti's now on the wing with Woewodin.
Umpire Norton slams it onto the knob as White and Porter getting the tap at Todd Viney. It's just a little dribble kick. White bending the back, shooting it backwards. A bit of volleyball here now. Fraser Brown under the hammer, gets it to James McDonald through heavy traffic. Ducks his head, throws the ball on the boot, sends it up towards 50. But Steve Silvani, that is why he's one of the best defenders in the business. Using his body, takes an easy chest mark. Changing direction now to the running Dean Rice. One of Carlton's best, Murphy, eyes off the ball, but has time to steady. Long kick up forward. Pearce from behind. Seacamp punch to Ingerson.
Or handball.
Jared call it. Dean caught by Shanahan. Now the Demons are away with McDonald through centre wing. Left foot chip, a poor one. Andrew McKay will take the ball in front of Gary Lyon, who just lets him know that he was around.
Well, I don't think I've ever seen so many players kick to opposition players in a quarter of football as we see McKay across the Manton. Oh, he copped one high. Umpire paying the advantage. Andrew McKay to half-forward. Shanahan sets himself in front. Oh, good play. Camporelli on the outskirts of the back. Pearce at the back. Oh! Now what? That's after the siren. A slap across the face by Seacamp. And Chris Mitchell letting it go. Now, what happens there, Jared? It was actually after the siren.
Doesn't matter, though. If we get
it
to
was
see
a
it
slap
again.
across the face.
Whoa.
Now, how do you... look at that. Just
no, he gave him one in the stomach. I think Pearce might have given him a little bit of an uppercut.
Well, that is very, very interesting. Listen to the Carlton supporters. Seacamp had taken the mark.
Well, we'll have another look at
and
it
then
shortly.
whack.
But you'll see that
Pearce gave him one.
Camporelli
goes.
Pearce first. So it's a square one.
It's a square up.
Sorry, I said Camporelli. It's
that's-
actually Pearce.
Well, that's good umpire. Well, except that Pearce is hurt, but he gave a short one to the stomach and then copped one back.
Straight away. But you can't call it a slap. He's still lying on the ground. He looks a bit
But it
distressed.
looked like the open hand, didn't it? To be quite honest.
Oh, it happened very quickly, Peter.
I think we might have another look at it, and I guarantee that Chris Mitchell's going to have 65 looks at it after the game. Here we go. Good play by Seacamp, and he does well taking the mark. There's the first, and there's the second.
Oh, no, I see what you mean. But there was retaliation, and, well, it was square up in the end, wasn't
it? Certainly was.
And the question's got to be asked, why wasn't a free kick paid? Firstly, to Seacamp.
No, a 50-metre penalty.
Firstly, to Seacamp, and then the reversal of that going back to Pearce.
I don't reckon he would have seen the first one. It was so quick, the one into the stomach.
Well, I guess we can only ask why Chris Mitchell didn't pay a free kick.
We can replay it and talk about it because at the time I don't think they were reported.
So as we have a look at Bradley Pearce being helped off the ground, sick and sorry for himself, he can rejoice in the fact that Carlton have a 4-point lead. It's 3-2-20, 2-4-16.
So Chris Mitchell holds the ball aloft to start the second term here at Optus Oval. The Blues lead by 4 points. Error-riddled first term by both sides where they continually kick to opposition players, which wouldn't please the coaches. Here's Steve Tingay on the ground. Listen to the roars of the Melbourne supporters as he kicks to half forward. Andrew McKay. Silvani, a rock of Gibraltar in that first term, brings it out wide and finds Darren Hume. Hume hard up against centre wing. Breaks the tackle. A lovely kick finds Whitnell. He's thinking of playing on. He is. He kicks it to the pocket. He's looking here for Kudafiti. He doubles back. Shanahan's against him. Taken by White. White gives it out wide to Febey. Steve Febey finds Tingay. And Tingay marks in the back. 2 touches already to Steve Tingay in this term. Uze was outstanding in that first term. And hopefully Gerard Healy, the chairman of selectors, will look at him for the stateside this year. Todd Viney looking for a hand pass. He should kick it. Out wide, he's got running players out here. Woewodin, this is good for Melbourne. He's a left footer, he's going to be forced to kick on his right. He bends it back, hoping someone can take a mark. They can, but it's Carlton, Michael Sexton.
And the Carlton defence are just well on top in the man-on-man battles. Sexton is now on David Schwarz. Manton's gone to Gaddy Lyon, but they just can't take a mark at the present time, the Melbourne key forwards.
Porter, good work from Mark Porter, using his body, taking a good ruckman's mark.
It's going to be a top ruckman, this guy.
Strong and tough, not a bad, a bit of a helicopter kick up towards centre wing. Justin Murphy knocks it back. Leoncelli under the hammer, allows the ball to go over the line, but umpire Chris Mitchell will call it in the back against Murphy. Played it well, Leoncelli.
Could have almost been 50 too.
Concedes 15 metres, looking for Todd Viney. Viney going inboard to Woewodin. That's better football from the Demons, but they've got to move it quickly. As umpire Mitchell is telling everyone to settle down and get on with the game. Woewodin getting instructions from all over the ground. Bit of indecision now, elects to kick straight to the Carlton player in Sexton. So David Schwarz is waving his arms around, not real happy about that. Sexton now changes direction to the Camporelli direction on his left foot. Doesn't let the Carlton side down, finding Peter Dean is a long way out from full forward where he came on and started in the first term. Dean's kick over the top, Ingerson punch, clever. Adam McKenna, Uze to White. Now off to Febey, long kick, David Schwarz. Two grabs inside 50 will line up for his first shot at goal.
Well, David Schwarz and David Neitz are both struggling. They're not moving as well as they have done in previous weeks. Weren't all that flash in Queensland last week either. And they're up against better opposition this afternoon. Schwarz was left alone because his man was scurrying up to get into the midfield.
Well, this 50-metre kick, it's a pretty good one. He's made up for anything he might not have done in the first term. And it's a great goal to Melbourne. Puts them back in front by 2 points.
Once again, it was Adam Uze involved in bringing the ball through the middle of the ground, doing pretty well in defence at the moment. Great punch away from Marcus Seekamp also, who's, well, he's had some moments in this game. Some controversial ones and some important football ones. Adam Uze now with 7 possessions. But it's up to Melbourne, if they're to go on in this quarter, to get some domination going in the middle of the ground. It's about 50-50 for takeaways at the moment.
Perfect conditions for football. Melbourne very strong in the middle as it's kicked forward by Leoncelli towards the half-forward line. Great kick by Gary Lyon. Fantastic. Most players would have forced that out of bounds, but he grabbed it, Jared, and kept it in play. Yeah,
brilliant play by Gary Lyon. He was 1 against 2. He had McKay and Manton both against him. But as you said, Pete, he didn't concede the ball over the boundary line. He hooked it back. But a bit of a controversial decision, this mark, because there was a fair percentage of the crowd here thought it was a push-out. Watch David Schwarz.
In the face, wasn't it?
He just pushed him around and... well, Sexton was left grabbing at all sorts of things.
Well, David Schwarz, his second goal in a minute, and this would give them a good little break. Oh, it was drifting to the right. You can see it. We're right behind that, and that is a bad miss, actually, from that far out. But Melbourne kicking, I reckon, with about a 3-goal breeze. So most of the kicks are going an extra 10 metres to left of screen.
Well, the David Schwarz behind extends their lead by 3 points. Manton finding Porter. Big grab from the big Blues ruckman. Bit of an airy shot to Hogg. Hogg looking for rain. Kicks it up 55 metres. No one can mark the ball. Now DiIulio under pressure from 2 Melbourne defenders. Darren Hume puts his head down under the pack. And Woewodin is wrapped up by Ronnie DiIulio. And there'll be a bounce just on the Carlton side of...
Did Melbourne remind you a little bit of the Swans with their gang tackling and pressure, Jared?
Oh, there's no doubt that since we saw the Neil Danaher stamp on this side, that they were going to be far tougher at the footy.
Jeff White doing some good dancing now over to Viney. Good strong mark in the middle of the pack is Matthew Febey. Stephen Febey, number 21.
And he is one player that has responded to the coaching of Neil Danaher. He's having his best season for Melbourne.
Well, this kick was bit of a mongrel off the boot now. Uze's probably the best on the ground for the Demons. Tingay, it's his 3rd possession in the second term. It's Hogg elects to punch, and umpire Mark Nash calls that out of bounds. Throw it in the Melbourne.
That's not far off being deliberate in the technical sense.
Yeah, well, let's not get too technical.
He went straight to the line.
Yeah, but he punched the ball because he didn't know who was around him.
Meanwhile, back at the footy.
Porter palms it down. Ratton was wrapped up. So another throw-in. 6 minutes into this second term, Brett Ratton, twice best and fairest for the Blues. One of those in the premiership year in '95. Only about 35 metres out from the Melbourne goal is Porter. Schwarz, Porter the bigger and the stronger, again paddles the ball over the line for another throw-in, the third in a row. It's Mark Porter wearing number 11, Earl Spalding's old number. Some famous boys have worn that number 11, Peter. Brucey Dool. Some big stars for Carlton. Now Rigoni on the left foot, one-on-one in the goal square. David Neitz looking for a one-hander. Pressure from Silvani, the Neitz over the shoulder. Sensational stuff. He hasn't done a lot, Jared, so far this game, but when he's done it well.
No, that in fact was his first kick, Russell, so he'd be pretty pleased with that. But I tell you what, full credit goes to Guy Rigoni. Great tap. Look what he does. He could see that Neitz had the behind position, and he kicked it over his head. In fact, Neitz perhaps should have taken the mark, but he's up against one of the great body players, and he gets a rap on the back from Alistair Clarkson, the runner now for the Demons.
Well, we're looking at one of the best body players on the back line of all time, in Silvani, and I saw one last evening of the best forward body players of all time in Jason Dunstall. When they play against each other, it's great. Here's Viney racing in towards the forward line. Neitz again. Schwarz. Oh,
he's paid it.
He's taken the mark, Schwarz, and rightly so. And Melbourne getting on top here in midfield, Gerald.
Well, Porter coming off the ground. I think Jeff White has really exerted himself in this game. They've got the last couple of takeaways, Melbourne. Todd Viney having his best half of football for some time. Brilliant kick and a great mark. But the difference is now that the Melbourne boys are getting the ball into their forward line, and the likes of Neitz, Schwarz and Lyon are doing well.
Schwarz for his second. I think he's kicked it. He looks happy. Yes! 2 goals to David Schwarz, and the Demons getting on top here, kicking with a slight breeze.
Yeah, pretty handy 15-point lead now to Melbourne, and he's got an interesting kicking style for goal, David Schwarz. He actually slings his foot across his body. He doesn't keep the foot in the straight plane, Peter, does he?
He does. You're dead right, Jared. You can see it in that replay shot. It goes out to the right. He actually slides it out to the right.
Yep.
It's a funny kicking action, but he's a pretty good kick.
Well, Melbourne have kicked 3 unanswered goals in this second term. Just under 14 minutes remaining in the first half. Viney again, as Jared mentioned, is playing one of his better halves of football for a while. Tough in the clinches. Leoncelli's good vision. Rigoni's wrapped up Leoncelli again, but the handball straight to Peter Dean, who sends it to one-on-one in the goal square. Murphy trying to use some body work on Seacamp. Trying to recover now. Camporelli, quick shot at goal, goes across the face and one behind.
Well, the Blues responded there. I thought their pressure in the middle of the ground was superb. They haven't been able to convert. They are missing Brad Pearce, who's off the ground, we believe, KO'd.
With a sore head.
Well, he's a goal kicker, isn't he, Bradley Pearce? That's why he'll be sorely missed up there.
Well, for those that didn't know, there was a bit of an altercation just on the quarter-time siren between he and Marcus Seacamp, and Brad Pearce ended up second best as the kick out from goal finds Matty Allen, who's just spent a bit of time on the bench. Nice clash between Dean Rice and Woewodin, and Woewodin will take the free kick for too high. As umpire Norton calls it.
Got it, because the Melbourne players, Russell, aren't they tearing in hard at that football?
Oh, nice forearm in the face, thank you very much. Little chip pass to Tingay. Still able to get his boot to the ball, over the top of McKay. Lyon, clever work. David Schwarz around the corner. Silvani watching the ball float through the behinds. And it's the Demons' 6th. They lead 5-6-36 to 3-3-21. The quarter-time scores Carlton with 3-2-20. And Melbourne started at 2-4-16 at quarter-time.
Well, there's a vital 5 or 6 minutes coming up here. Melbourne are on top. They could easily gain the ascendancy in this game, and the Blues will have to be right on their mettle. There's Dean Rice, Andrew McKay, Hogg. Just touched down there by Uze. Here's Woewodin, picks it up, caught. That's holding the ball, in my opinion. Well, very lucky Viney, the Shanahan, who kicks to the open space. Andrew McKay, being a defender, he'll let this roll out. He was forced to keep it in. And eventually Tingay takes it over the line on centre wing. But at this stage, Melbourne looking very, very sharp. They're hunting in packs. Numbers at the ball, and the Blues will have to lift. Schwarz taking front position. Viney's working overtime there. He's legged. And centre wing, the umpire, Matthew Norton, will bounce it.
Fraser Brown under that pack, Peter, had, I think, 11 possessions up to quarter time, 7 kicks and 4 handballs, and also 4 marks. So he's had a lot of the play. And Koutafidis was starting in the half-back line, then he went to full forward.
They're playing pretty wide, though. He's on Rigoni, and as we know, Rigoni's also been pretty prolific in his possession.
There's another kick to Brown. A nice handball from Ratton. Aaron Hamill in front of Shanahan. Takes an easy chest mark. Moves it quickly, looking for the leading Murphy. Strong work from Seacamp. Play on's the name of the game for the Melbourne side. Play on quickly. They're getting themselves in a bit of trouble, but some good classy, slick work with the Febeys. Well, which one is it? Stephen or Matthew? Not too sure. Matthew, the left footer. His left foot kick looking for Gary Lyon. Beautiful work. Brown's wrapped up by Rice. Silvani under the hammer, taken high. Now Brown, he's short. Gary Lyon on the left foot, something clever. But not enough.
Tell you what, he kept his head though, young Nathan Brown. He was under severe pressure. That was perhaps the hottest first possession ever won by a footballer. He had the absolute split second, and he was wrapped up by Silvani, but he came up with another one quickly and laid it off with poise to Gary Lyon.
Well, here's the evergreen Peter Dean to halfback McKay. Koutafidis. That's holding the ball. Yes, what a terrific rundown. Was it Woewodin?
McDonald.
No, it's McDonald, in fact. Anthony McDonald onto the left. And the mark taken down there by Manton. Again, a misdirected kick.
But that rundown on to Koutafidis is just indicative of a player that's out of form.
Oh, 2 players with eyes on the ball then. Matthew Hogg and Steve Tingay. Courage personified. All the players wait for it. Thumped away from behind by Inglis, and he's a very disciplined player. Shanahan back to Tingay. Oh, they come in on him, and the umpire should come in and bounce. Good umpiring. Not to pluck a free kick out of that, because they're all hard at the football.
There's Brad Pearce, who's just trying to get his senses back. He was in Disneyland at quarter time, thanks to a business class ticket from Marcus Seacamp. Good tap from White. Koutafidis interception. Camporelli has to kick quickly. 2-on-1. Usually and should win was Ingerson. Viney's taken high by Matthew Hogg, and he will take the free kick on the left half-back for the Melbourne side.
Is he one of the toughest players you've seen at the ball?
He's pretty hard at it, isn't he? And he's been doing it for a long time now for Melbourne.
Well, he's 32 years old and still going strong. Shanahan.
And Jamie Shanahan, they gave him 3 votes last week for his performance up in Brisbane in the heat. And he is on fire once again today. He's having a great match.
And also, Jared, he's playing away from the goal square, which is a bit unlike Shanahan. Normally, he's stuck in the goal square, but no Carlton can play a good mark, but Andrew McKay throwing himself with the ball into the pack to try and wrap it up. So the Carlton side looking for some drive off the half-back line from Sexton, McKay. Silvani's been under a lot of pressure. They need some scores on the board. They've only got 1 behind in this second term. We've played 16.5 minutes. Again, the ball's going nowhere. Viney amongst the thick of it.
Andrew Leoncelli is doing an outstanding job on Brett Ratton. He's kept him to just 7 possessions to date in this second term, which is unders for Brett Ratton.
Certainly Ratton, a beautiful, sensational premiership player. Brown under pressure. Skewed left foot kick. Hopgood using his strength, pushes off Jacob Anstey. And a beautiful left foot pass to precision. Stephen Febey now putting Brown under the hammer. A bit tough on the young kid. But Locke was on the ground. Anstey now chips across to Bradley. Craig Bradley on centre wing. Looks to settle things down for the Carlton side, but needs to move it quickly. He does. 2-on-1 again. And it wins Anamuze, one of the best on the ground. Peter McKenna's flying his flag for him to be playing in the State of Origin.
It's a mark against 2 tall players. Fantastic. Here's Tingay. Shanahan. Oh, he wasn't aware of the player coming towards him. McDonald. Steve Febey ran past the ball. Here's Bradley. He's almost collared by Shanahan. Up in the air it goes. That's a very, very good mark by Hamill. 70 metres from goal. And he should kick it long. Allen's ducked back into the square. Oh, poor kick again. But straight to Todd Viney.
David Parker pulling his hair out.
Allen was calling for it long. He ducked back into the goal square. And he couldn't get it to him, and some of the field kicking has been very ordinary. So Todd Viney, this will be Bradley's mark, I would think. Yes. Again, the kick wasn't to a Melbourne player's advantage.
I think they need David Neitz to just push up and make an option on the wing there.
Here's Murphy racing after it at half forward. Back to Hogg. He would have been collared, so he tapped it on. Kudafides kicks. Oh, from a standing start, he's put it through.
Well done to the Blues. They have responded. They've been putting pressure on Melbourne for about the last 4 or 5 minutes. And Melbourne's been having plenty of possession, but just haven't been able to get the ball past this Jack Elliott wing. And, well, off 2 steps. Kuda, who's gone into the forward line, gets a big one. In fact, Kudafides now has gone into the centre of the ground after that conversion. His direct opponent looks to be Stephen Febey.
Umpire Nash dumps it to the ground. The 2 ruckmen clash. Even Stevens, now Leon Shelley is one of Melbourne's best or better players. Sends it up forward. Gary Lyon is punched away by Manson. Now it's Neitz off the ground, left-hander. Stephen Febey's wrapped up by 2 Rice and Ratton. And Leon Shelley and Gary Lyon are there for support.
Yeah, you saw David Neitz try and take possession of the footy. All he had to do was knock the ball out to Jeffrey White, who was just sitting off the pack, and he was in space.
By Chris Mitchell, inside 50. Melbourne forward line. Allen down to Kudafides. Bit of indecision. Now the running Camporelli has a look around to Locke. Now back to Camporelli. 1-2.
Starting to move.
Wignall's a long way out from the square. Long kick up towards the 50. The leading Hume. Now it's Hamill. If he gets a chance to steady, hooks it around his body. Looking for the leading Murphy. Finds him. Good work from the Carlton side. Bit of system.
The last couple of minutes have been good, Carlton, haven't they, Jared?
Yeah, well, they worked that ball from defensive area through Camporelli pretty smartly. And Melbourne just want to be on their mettle here because the Blues are on a roll. They're at the home ground. They've got their home crowd starting to find some voice.
So we've got a great
and if Justin Murphy can thread this one through a pretty tight angle, they will lift the roof off this Optus Oval Stadium, despite the fact it hasn't got one.
The kick looks pretty good. Oh, what a great goal from Justin Murphy. Oh. Ooh. Well, the goal line boys in a better position, but
Tell you what,
I think he thought it was a goal.
We'll have another look at that at some stage in the near future, as in right now. And let's just have a look. From the camera angle, this looks like an absolute
straight through the middle. That's a great.
Well, you saw it deviate perhaps as it was going over the post. It was outside the line.
Oh,
well, poor kicking again. This kicking to opposition players. Hamill on to Dean. Dean chipping it in short. Murphy. Now he can kick this one from directly in front. And the Blues have really lifted this past 5 minutes. It's been all theirs.
Matthew Allen coming off the ground. And he's going to be replaced by Mark Porter just for this last few minutes. Last 4 or 5 minutes of the second term. Vital kick here for Justin Murphy.
Well, he is a great kick normally, Justin Murphy. A very long kick. They'll only be 3 points down if he can kick this. He's hooked it. As soon as you give a bloke a rap, they let you down. So they've had all the play in this past 5. Jeff White coming off the ground. Steins will come back on. So Murphy won't like that. And onto the phone, Jeff White. There's Danny Corcoran, the football manager who went across from
Gary Hardiman as well there at past champion.
Well, he was a terrific player, Gary Hardiman. I actually played on him a couple of times. He was a shortish centre back, probably better suited to halfback flank. Line coming off the ground for Melbourne. And we'll just see, I think it might be Russell Robertson coming on. It is.
Well, they've lost the footy. probably down at Norton's at the moment getting raffled. Norton's Hotel.
What Melbourne have got to do, though, is somehow get this ball away from the defensive area.
And Stephen Febey's been called for blood rule, so we've got some more time wasting.
I wonder if he was dobbed in by the opposition. That seems to have been happening in recent weeks.
Umpire Mark Nash had the call, so he will be replaced.
Well, wouldn't you say, Gerard, this is a very vital 4.5 minutes coming up in this game?
Yeah, Melbourne with just an 8-point lead now. It has been whittled away. And the Blues are on a bit of a roll.
Well, the match committee is still wondering who they're going to replace Febey with. It's now James McDonald. So it's Adam Uze in the goal square looking to kick out.
Adam Uze, who's had an outstanding game so far. His use of the ball is normally pretty good now.
I think one of Melbourne's problems is when they play Ingerson at centre-half back, they do lack a marking player for these kickouts. It just leaves it to Jim Stynes.
Well, there's Stynes against 3 Carlton players out there, and again, it's gone straight to a Carlton guy, and it's Aaron Hamill. Now, he's got to play a loose out wide. It's a poor kick again. Anstey, he can go over the top. Lock. Anstey, bend your back. Murphy again. He's marked 30 metres out directly in front. I think I'd back him this time.
Well, those around the corner kicks always fall short. And it just seems unusual that forwards are always running forward towards the ball and they pick them up generally with chest marks. But just getting back to that point of the kickouts, Adam Uze had very little opportunity or very few options other than to go for Jim Stynes. And they need maybe to bring a Neitz up from centre-half forward to give a further marking option, a further tall marking option from the defensive kickouts.
So a chance to make the margin 2 points. Oh, it's drifted across slightly. I think he's missed again. Oh. No, he hasn't. Oh, the crowd weren't confident.
Either was Justin Murphy, Pete.
Oh, I thought he felt as if he'd missed it. That must have been perilously close as Gary Lyon gets treatment.
So he looked a little bit proppy as he ran off the ground, and Marcus Seacamp suggesting that that was the square up. Not all that impressive was Justin Murphy. He wasn't confident at all, was he? The goal umpire makes that decision from halfway between goal post and point post.
Well, Justin Murphy's goal. The Justin Murphy goal brings the Blues within 2 points. And it could be a long quarter. We had a bit of time wasting. We had a lost footy, as well as the blood rule. Now it's in the Melbourne forward line again. Oh, big clash on Sexton.
Oh.
Crash by Robinson.
He'll be in trouble there, I think.
Wow, that would have hurt.
That's a very hard knock.
Let's hope that he's okay. Copped it very high.
Chisholm was a hard knock.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It's actually a little bit similar to the way that David Neitz had his jaw broken last year against the Fremantle Dockers. 2 players, both going hard at the footy. One kept his feet, the other one was coming in low. And Michael Sexton is in a bit of strife. And if he goes down, that puts a huge hole in the Carlton defence.
Russell Robinson just coming on the ground. Nice hip and shoulder on Sexton, but
he's tough, Sexton, isn't he?
Oh, but that's a knock around the head, Pete. That's enough to send anyone to Disneyland. So just gathering his thoughts. I think he's got Tweety Bird flying around as the kick is now out to McKay. It's taken by Salvani. His chip inboard to Locke. Number 17 for Carlton, wiry little first year player. Now the Blues are starting to build up. Good possession now to Ratton. Plays on quickly. Round on the left foot. Anstey, one hand, unable to pull it down. Tingay caught, but caught high. As umpire Chris Mitchell was in the centre of the ground, the arm came across Tingay's shoulder, and he receives a free kick. Leon Chelly's wide, centre wing for Melbourne.
Sexton coming off, Russell.
Yeah, not good shape. Leon Chelly steadies on the right boot, looking for McDonald over his head. He thought it was for someone else. Bit of comedy of errors here for the Melbourne side in this previous 5 minutes. The Blues are trailing by 2 points. Now it's Viney, centre wing. Time to steady onto the left foot. To Rigoni. Good handball to Rigoni. Now Robinson. To McDonald. The dance around Rice if he can. Unable to do so. Good tackling from the Carlton defender. Peter Dean up back line. Neitz tackling on Hamill. Koutafidis, back to Dean. Carlton will get it away.
Well, they blew a really strong opposite. They really should have kicked a great chance. They should have kicked the goal there, Melbourne. It's thumped away to Koutafidis. He's very skillful, or just gets in a hand pass to Porter. Koutafidis on the left. Racing after it is Darren Hume. He gets a cruel bounce, taken by Uze. It's a wobbly kick, but he was looking down here for Steve Febey. Oh, lovely hand pass under pressure. Finds Jimmy Steins, an up and under kick. He's looking here, no mark to Schwarz. Taken by Hamill, who's taken the place of Sexton at halfback. Dean doing pretty well. Kicks it wide. Here's the running Bradley. Can Carlton go forward and take the lead? Bradley up towards half forward. It clears the pack. Shanahan after it. So's Ingerson. Shanahan cleverly gets it out to Viney. Here's Uze again, and Melbourne get out of trouble with the kick out wide, and the mark will be taken out here by Craig Smoker.
He's got no one to give it to.
Left half back, Smoker to Woewodin in the centre of the ground. Poor disposal from the Melbourne side as Tingay's under the hammer, hits him on his back. Smoker's followed up, rushed kick up towards the half forward. Silvani in front of Neitz will let the ball go over the line.
No numbers there for Melbourne up around Neitz.
Very little movement, Peter, up forward, as we see Michael Sexton trying to settle after a strong knock. Both Pearce and Sexton have had knocks to the head. And Matty Allen sitting next to him is just having a rest. Now McKay, good vision to Lock. Good punch from Ingerson over from Whitnell. Now Anstey, well followed up from Lock. A high ball, high kick, and it's all Melbourne. And one of those players is Jimmy Steins. The other one was Uze, but Steins now is instructed to kick it across the ground to Shanahan, half-back for Melbourne. Time to steady. Elects to kick long, looking for the true centre forward position. Manton, a better judge of the footy on Robertson. Lays off to Dean Rice.
A long kick up towards Murphy. It flies at the back. Here's Anthony Ingerson. Good, intelligent play. Further afield to Rigoni. Out wide is Tingay. And he's decked after he got rid of it. This could be a vital free kick down the field. Craig Smoker is the recipient. So he's going to drive it to the pocket. Silvani into the hole. Good mark, Silvani. Read that beautifully as the siren sounds to end the second term here with honours. Pretty even. Melbourne lead by 2 points, but Jared Carlton a much improved showing in that last 12 minutes.
Yeah, I thought David Parkin would be pretty pleased with the way his side goes in at half-time. They have taken the ascendancy from Melbourne. Melbourne are starting to make some unforced errors with the footy. They are succumbing to the pressure that Carlton is applying in the middle of the ground. Barry Mitchell there talking to Matthew Allen about getting the ball from the centre. But at half-time, it's anybody's game, with the Blues trailing by just 2 points, 5-5-35 to Melbourne, 5-7-37.
So umpire Mark Nash to start the third term here at Optus Oval. 2 points the margin in favour of the Demons. Carlton came back hard towards the end of the second term. There's Steins taking on Porter. It's kicked away by Rigoni. Should be a mark. It is to Rice. That's intercepted though by Neitz as he brings it in towards full forward. Schwarz, yes! One-on-one, too strong, and a mistake by Carlton could be very, very costly.
Yeah, the handball interception by David Neitz was, well, it was a mistake, no question about that. And he had plenty of time just to get the ball up into the air, and in a one-on-one battle for strength, the Ox is always going to win out against Darren Hamill.
So David Schwarz kicked 2 goals in the second term after being very quiet in the first. Neitz has been very well held by Silvani. So the camera shot right behind David Schwarz here. It's a direct shot. Oh, he's hooked it and missed. And
well, we might just get another look at that, because that gave a classic example of him swinging the leg across the line. And as any golfer knows, if you take the club outside the line, you either slice or hook it.
In that case, how do you know that?
I know exactly that. Slices. There the ball goes the foot.
Oh, yeah, look, he dropped it.
Well and
he
truly.
dropped it on a
he swings from right to left rather than straight through the straight plane.
Well, I'd say most skills over the years have improved, Jared. I mean, they're better on both sides of the body. I reckon the one skill that has not improved over the years is kicking for goal. I really do. They missed too many easy shots.
Well, the ball's back in play. And after all that, that's on the still on the half-forward line for the Melbourne side. Steins palms it with the left down to Febey. I think that was McDonald on the right foot. Schwarz behind, Hamill. Woewodin. But from one behind for the Melbourne side. 2 behind so far this term for Melbourne. They led by 2 points at half-time. They kicked 3 goals, 3 in the second term. They were trailing Carlton by 4 points at quarter time. Carlton had 3-2-20 at quarter time, and they had 5-5-35 at half time.
Whitnell at centre half forward. Murphy at full forward for the Blues. Pearce is on the bench. He's still struggling, one suspects, with a bit of concussion, as is Michael Sexton.
So the Glenn Manton kick found the running DiIulio. Little fumble, but was able to recover. Not many options, but a smart kick from Ronnie DiIulio. Put it into open space, close to the boundary line. There we have Sexton, who collided heavily with Russell Robinson and copped it very high around the head, and also Pearce remonstration with Marcus Seacam as Porter shows strength in the rack. Good smother from Febey. Porter kicking himself for not being maybe a little bit quicker, but Stephen Febey with a beautiful smother.
Pretty dangerous time here for Melbourne. Carlton have got just one player in their forward 50. That's Justin Murphy. They may even think about dropping one back. Steins' strength overcomes Porter. Now Stephen Febey kicks. David Schwarz has a bit of time. And poise, Viney, 1 against 4, able to find Schwarz. The Schwarz pass, looking for Gary Lyon, but bypasses him and lands on the Glenn Manton chest on half-back for Carlton.
So Manton brings it to Hogg. Centre wing, a pack develops.
Big push by Jimmy.
Nice hand pass given off to Woewodin. That was by Leoncelli. Stephen Febey's and now standing here towards the forward line.
Oh.
Good mark, David Neitz. Oh, that's what Melbourne need. Neitz to start taking grabs up there against Silvani. 3 kicks only for the game.
Well, he needs to be able to convert this. This was a great mark. Good passage of play by Melbourne, actually. Febey ignored a couple of short options and pumped it in. They've got a weakness down there now, Carlton, a real hole on their defence, because their chief centre half back Michael Sexton off the ground.
And Silvani has probably gone on to Schwarz by the look of it, and Hamill on to Neitz. So Neitz from slight angle. Oh, he's kicked out. Is starting to swing back. He's got it, I think. Yes. David Neitz has kicked his second. He kicked it right out to the left and then swung back and through for a goal.
Yeah, it was a fair piece of play, wasn't it, by David Neitz? He pushes it to the left, aims it at the left-hand goal post and just starts bringing it back, as beautifully described by Peter McKenna, one of the all-time great full forwards.
With his 11 games at Carlton. Well, the first goal in that third term to David Neitz, and the only goal for the quarter, as the ball was thumped towards the Carlton goals, but the Melbourne defenders and midfielders are dominating. Stephen Febey and also Woewodin on his left foot. The youngster, beautiful looking kick. Nearly some clever work from Neitz with one hand, but Silvani was too strong as Aaron Hamill is taken high, but there was a whistle before that incident. And the advantage has been paid to DiIulio, playing on quickly. Strength of Shanahan, pushing Peter Dean out. McDonald caught by Locke, gets his kick away. It's a foot race, Hogg and Rigoni. Rigoni keeping his feet, with the ball beating everyone over the line. Centre wing, there'll be a throw-in. Played 5.5 minutes to this third quarter. It's been all Melbourne. They've kicked 1 goal, 2. Carlton yet to score. Steins with the right hand to McDonald. Just a short kick. Fraser Brown had a good first half for Carlton. Bradley back to Brown, trying to be clever. Now Damien Locke having a bit of the ball. Curtis Feeder's in front. Carmark now showing strength, athleticism. Off to the running Hogg. Here's a chance now for Carlton. Murphy in front. Inside 50. Anstey, clever, can steady, should put this through. Kick looks pretty good. It's not good enough. Big chance for Carlton then to get their first goal on the board in the third term. They needed to keep in touch. Sure, it's only 9 points the difference, but Melbourne are looking pretty good, Pete.
And Anthony McDonald in a bit of trouble over on the outer wing. He's rolled an ankle. As you can see him just hobbling there, it's his left ankle. Physiotherapist out to see him, but he's not going to be able to do much out on the ground.
Stephen Febey, as he often does, kicking in for Melbourne. Kicks long. He's looking for Steins. It's thumped away from him. Ratton for bad hand pass. Shanahan is there. On to Guy Ragoni. Out in front of Ingerson, who doesn't attempt to mark. He was quite happy to let that roll over the line, but
wasn't a great kick though, was it? Tim?
No, it wasn't.
Should have hit him right on the chest.
The field kicking today, Gerard, has not been good all round by both sides. So Porter, promising young ruckman against the evergreen Steins. Kicked away forward by James McDonald towards the half-forward line. And holding the ball, the Carlton players are calling for that. Matthew Norton having none of it. And carrying on line, reckons he copped it in the head. He's not happy, and neither were the Carlton players. So a bounce up on Melbourne's half-forward line. Kudafidis tried to get it out. And the umpire will bounce it again. Is that Kudafidis? No, it's Ratton at the bottom of the pack. So Brett Ratton getting a lot of attention the last couple of weeks there, running with him, putting a lot of pressure on. There's a quick kick. It's straight up in the air towards the half-forward line. Line flies, taken by Rice. Hooks it back towards the centre of the ground. Pace is needed. Todd Viney with courage goes in against Hogg. Hogg thumps it forward at about 25 metres. Here's big Jimmy Steins belting it out wide, and there'll be a race out here for the ball.
Good work by Steins, giving the ball a chance to be sorted out by Diulio and Smoker. Diulio under a bit of pressure here.
And Carlton have put Matthew Hogg onto Todd Viney, just recognising the impact he's had on the first half.
Steins in front, helped by the Porter arm, pushing the ball out again. Centre wing.
A couple of racehorses there.
As Ronnie Diulio slides into the fence and hurts his ankle. Ouch. Camporelli through the pack. Now kicks inside 50 for Carlton. Murphy on the lead, can't mark. He's got Whitnell to help him. Marcus Seekamp running out the ball. Brown showing some tough stuff for the young kid.
Jeez.
His first game. What a great effort from Nathan Brown, number 41. Magnificent stuff.
I agree. What a bet. That is he hard at the ball.
Yeah, and a little kid too. And Neil Danaher would be very pleased with that. So the bounce. It's on the Carlton side of centre. White with the left hand. Porter also. Brown under the pack. As David Schwarz gets shoved to the ground and taken high, according to Mark Nash. Plays on quickly. His kick goes wide. Looking for McDonald, James McDonald and Rice. McDonald trying to be clever. But Dean Rice, a bit too much experience, drag his body over the line. Another throw in. As the emergency umpire off screen runs up to have a talk to Fraser Brown. No, bypasses him. Porter, left hand down to McDonald. Now Ragoni, quick kick on the right foot. Gary Lyon looking to take the ball, but good work from Diulio off half back. The ball a bit misdirected.
I'll tell you what, it was a fair mark by Guy Ragoni. He was over his shoulder and it was floating. And he still came up with a good mark.
He's had a good game, showing a lot of maturity for his lack of experiences. Silvani, clever work. McKay unable to control the footy.
He's just struggling at the moment, Andy McKay. He's trying his guts out, but sometimes the ball just doesn't run your way, and little fumbles like that just exacerbate the problem.
Another throw in on Melbourne's half forward. Porter gets the tap. Schwarz showing some strength. The big ox, as Jared called it before, or Theo X, according to his teammates. But the ball goes over the line, up towards the Melbourne forward line. Right half forward. 11 minutes gone in the third term. Melbourne 6-9, Carlton 5-6.
Well, Carlton had the ascendancy as we approached half-time. Now Melbourne seemed to have regained it in this first 5 or 6 minutes. Lyon, no, he took it over the line. Even there, he tried to keep it in play and centre the ball. He's a great thinker, Gary Lyon.
Still just 9 points, though, Pete. It's anybody's game.
Oh,
here,
it certainly is. And the way the game's been going, it's ebbed and flowed, hasn't it? It's been one side on top for 5 or 6 minutes, then the other. Now, what's happened here behind the play? Just a bit of a shove on Hopgood by Camporelli. Schwarz, James McDonald's in there at the bottom of the pack. Will be another bounce.
Good to see common sense prevailed from the umpires then. It wasn't a silly free kick paid.
Well, the umpires this year have been pretty good under Peter Schwarz. I think they're getting a footballer's perspective of umpiring, Gerard. I think it's fair to say that. But they've got also ex-umpires involved.
They'd be a little bit concerned at the moment because Gattiers declared umpire season open yesterday.
So here's Smoker on the left. Bring it back towards the pocket, a one-on-one. Oh, Neitz almost grabbed it. Well done by Hamill. Do you think it was a free kick, Gerard?
Oh, it was pretty close to it.
So the kick out wide. Uze's after. He's had a fine game. Hogg into the fence, appealing for a free, and we're going to pay it. No, it's going to be a throw-in, I think. Throw-in, half forward for Melbourne. They're working very hard. The Blues unable, as so far in this term, to get something flowing through the middle. Oh, Schwarz just took his eye off it a little bit. Here's Riccone. Oh, good play. He's not a bad little player. Neitz. Oh, he can run into an open goal. Off the ground. Oh, he could have maybe picked it up. He elected the kick off the ground and he's missed. Then again, the ball was not sitting up for him.
No, but I just don't think that David Neitz was aware that he had that extra moment to steady. It actually spun around beautifully. Good agility. And he had 2 or 3 yards up his sleeve. Which is tough because he's wearing a sleeveless jumper.
The Demons have kicked 1-3 this third term.
Can't they get you into some trouble, the old cliche?
Good kick, finding Peter Dean, left half back for Carlton. Not a lot to offer. He's only got Shane Woewodin from Melbourne on his own, so Dean elects to kick to the running Whitnell into space. And a good clearing punch from Ingerson.
It's been good, Ingerson,
all year. Doing the job for them. At centre half back is Anthony Ingerson, which is allowing them to maintain their very tall forward line.
So a little concern for Carlton. Not a lot of movement upfield for their half backs to direct some footy at. Now Stephen Febey, a good second and also a good third term, and Aaron Hamill in front of Neitz. Ronnie DiIulio there to help. There's Craig Smoker calling maybe for this holding the ball rule that they've just introduced. To no avail. There'll be a bounce about 15 to 20 metres out from the Melbourne goal. Umpire Matthew Norden, number 16. Porter and Neitz. Porter the stronger. Straight to Camporelli. Relieves a little pressure. 2 teammates, Melbourne teammates, spoil each other. Now McKay has the vision to Ratton. Whistle blows. Advantage paid to Camporelli. Poor kick. Clean bowls Whitnell. Now Nathan Brown showed a lot of courage before Camp. Very scrambly football here at Optus Oval. Now the Demons get the ball away to Viney. Kicks long and wide, looking for Neitz. Slips over, holds his ankle. Looks in a bit of stride for Stephen Silvani. Will try and clear the ball from Carlton and run it out to half-back. Under a lot of pressure, Silvani. Straight to Jeff White, can't take the mark. Now Kudafini's up half-back for Carlton.
And David Neitz has got to learn to get in front of that forward line. They're bombing it down to him as Locke tries to bend it back. This young kid's been good. A push in the back as he kicked it. Nathan Brown had taken the mark, but it will come back to half forward.
They're calling for the stretcher on Neitz. His left ankle, I think, Peter, so not good news.
Let's hope it's an ankle and not an knee. Now it's ended up with Nathan Brown. Another poor field kick. And I venture to say it's been one of the worst games I've ever seen as far as field kicking to the opposition.
Hasn't been great, but players going to have to be held up here because the stretcher's come on for David Neitz. Now he's either really badly rolled his ankle, he may well have broken his lower leg.
Oh, that's
and the way they're holding that foot.
He just slipped under looking for that chest mark, Gerard, and you could just see straight away he went and grabbed his leg.
Oh, don't you hate seeing this? You cringe when you see players down.
Top players as well.
Oh, so simple. Is that he holds down near the ankle area? So that you don't think it's a knee?
No, I don't think it's his knee. I think he's hurt his lower leg. Could well be a knee. Difficult to say at this stage.
Well, rotten luck for David and Melbourne, of course.
We'll have another look at it, and Gary Lyon is really going to have to kick some goals here now. So we'll just have a look at, as Peter called it, the left leg just slips out.
Just slides.
And then buckles underneath him. And then he crunches down with his own body weight. And straight away goes for that lower leg area. It may well be his ankle, but you'd think a broken leg is probably more the point at the moment.
Well, Gary Lyon will take a lot of responsibility down that forward line now. and let's hope it's not too serious, but his initial reaction was to go for that lower leg, and obviously there's some serious damage there. Jimmy Steins will probably come back on the ground. Sure, he's warming up anyway.
I just wonder whether Melbourne won't benefit from this, because I've had a feeling all day they've been too tall on the forward line.
Yep. Nathan Brown, he looks like a school kid. Look at him. But he's got plenty of heart. He goes in very, very hard after the ball. Centre wing. This Todd Viney has been outstanding. Handballs in front of him, then appeals for the free kick. He was grabbed. Lock. It's a free kick because he handballed in front of him. Then turned around to the umpire and said, "Where's my free?"
He really didn't like the treatment that Stephen Silvani served on him either. So Viney's kick, looking for the high-flying Schwarz. Now it's Jeff White, steadies, throws it on the left boot, hooks it back in. Ingerson over the top, can't grab the ball cleanly. Now he's wrapped up by Manton and Hamill. Good defensive work from Carlton.
Well, Silvani's gone to centre-half forward.
Yeah, they need some movement up at the forward line. Carlton, Aaron Hamill's been moved down to the back line to replace the injured Sexton. David Neitz just carried off on a stretcher. So they've got Gary Lyon, David Schwarz, two tall forwards. Smoker tried to get his kick. Now Ingerson kicks inboard, looking for some Melbourne movement, but it's only Hoggy for Carlton. Brad Hogg, premiership player. And the ball will beat everyone. Goes out of bounds. Lance Whitnell's moved up to the back line. So the throw in. Left half forward for Melbourne, about 75 metres around from their goal. White and Allen. Allen the stronger to Fraser Brown. Clever work. Rigoni, one of Melbourne's best players today. McDonald gets a quick kick. Kick to kick here at Optus Oval. Now Whitnell to Lock, straight through his hands. Good pressure from Brown. Dean off to McKay. Pushes the ball forward now to Febey. He has time to steady. Now this kick hopefully will go to a Melbourne player. From Melbourne's point of view, it does to James McDonald. He plays on quickly, an open forward line.
Poor kick in there.
But the Manton defence for Carlton is too strong, but Gary Lyon never really given an opportunity.
Well, James McDonald's kick was not kicked to the advantage of his forwards. It was kicked to the advantage of the opposition. Centre wing, Jacob Anstey to the half-foot line. Silvani has swapped with Whitnell. Oh, the little kid goes in again. Brown went in very, very hard after that ball. Adamuse congratulates him.
Well, he's so young, his nickname has got to be Charlie.
Brad Pearce is coming back on, Pete, so
Yep.
they need some goal scoring power.
Half forward for the Blues. Allen gets at the ground. Viney went in hard, then was grabbed. Quick hand pass from Allen. Finds Hogg. Hogg up in the air to half forward. Murphy against Shanahan. Shanahan used his body well. Hand pass comes back from Ingerson. Rigoni. Silvani on the left. The bounce. Oh, just wide behind to the Blues.
You get the feeling that Carlton are starting to build some momentum. So the Demons are going to have to respond here. They've got their own injury problems now with one of their key forwards off the ground. A change being made for the Blues, and Darren Hume coming back onto the ground just to give them a little bit more speed in the midfield.
Well, we've played 20 minutes in the third term with only one goal kicked. So obviously not a very high scoring game. 5 goals to 6. Melbourne by 9 points.
Big push in the back.
Yep.
The Carlton faithful give the Bronx cheer as Peter Dean will take the free. Right half forward, 60 metres out from goal, so he should land it. Looking for an inboard option is Ronnie Giulio. Just precautionary little leg.
Well, Melbourne's had the ball inside their 50 13 times to Carlton's 4 in this term alone. But right now, Carlton have got the ascendancy. The momentum's flowing with them.
McKay's pass, it hit Pearce, but he wasn't capable of holding that mark. Now it's a foot race with McDonald and McKay. They both keep their feet. McDonald, clever work, ducks his head, grabs the ball, shoves it out, off to Robinson, dodges around 2 players. Excellent.
Charlie.
Nathan Brown off to McDonald. The ball will go close to the boundary line, but he's got a bit of time. Good shepherd from Gary Lyon on Koutafidis. And McDonald's kick across the pack, and Lance Whitnell will take that to mark in defence.
Well, they've only got themselves to blame, Melbourne. They've been, Gerard Healy said, they've been driving into their forward 50 time and time again. Peter Dean finds Matthew Allen. See, oh, nearly run down. Gets his kick in. Murphy. Ingerson at the back. Good discipline play. Silvani and Shanahan. Good play by Shanahan. Umpire sensibly calling play on. Fraser Brown a quick kick. Ingerson helps it on its way for a behind. And that was good, desperate play. And Ingerson and Shanahan, Gerard, are very good, tough defenders.
Solid and reliable. There's nothing flash about either player. Shanahan perhaps the more skillful of the two, but both have been in great form all season. And they're going to have to remain that way for the present time, because lots of pressure being brought to bear on the defence of the Demons.
Well, Febey's kick finding Nathan Brown deep in defence. Boy from West Adelaide. Looks a likely tie for Melbourne. This kick's a good kick up towards centre wing. They have high flyers. Matty Allen can't mark. Woewodin.
Cooter's got a lift.
Handball to Cooter, feed his interception to Fraser Brown. He's all on his own, but steady, and put it through from 50. The kick is wide and poor and out of bounds.
Well, the scene is set for the Special K, Anthony Koutafidis, to give us 5 minutes of brilliance. And if he can do that, he could take Carlton to a 2 or 3 goal lead at three-quarter time, and they'd be hard to beat from there, Macca.
Excuse me gasping all the time, but that kicking goal is disgraceful. There's young Brown bending it back. Bradley! Now let's see what the captain can do from 35 metres on a 45-degree angle. But
He's a certainty to kick this.
I mean, I gasped with Fraser Brown. No one near him for 20 metres. Turns around, have a set shot and kicks it out of bounds.
Well, they trail by some 8 points here, the Blues. And you wouldn't want to have the ball in any other player's hands on the ground if you were hoping that the play would kick the goal. One of the great kicks, either from a standing start or on the run.
So Craig Bradley, lacking a bit of match practice. He didn't have a full pre-season due to injury.
Will he kick it, Pete?
Yes, he's a very steady kick. I'd almost back him, I think. Oh, he's hooked it.
Works every time, doesn't it? The reverse Moz.
Oh, the kicking, well, all round today, I think has been just very, very ordinary. And yet the game itself has been entertaining because of the hardness and closeness of the game.
Well, it's been fierce in the middle of the ground, and perhaps that's one of the reasons that the field kicking hasn't been all that excellent.
And it's fair to say Melbourne haven't been getting a lot out of the kick-ins, have they? Carlton have had them pretty well covered.
Yeah, they've got a pretty good zone defence going on this ground, and a bit easier on this ground because of its size.
Well, they get away with it because Uzo took a good mark, but again, he was under enormous pressure out there.
Well, Carlton haven't kicked a goal since the 23-minute mark of the second term. So a few concerns in the match committee. It's Jeff White on the lead, takes an easy chest marks, looking to settle things down.
Come back across the ground.
He could and open it up.
Just 4 minutes remaining in the third term. Melbourne by 7 points. His kick misses everyone. DiIulio running with the ball, meeting the Melbourne forward as they wrap each other up. McDonald. By Mark Nash will bounce it. Melbourne side of centre wing. Good conditions here at Optus Oval. It's looked a bit dark this afternoon, but not a lot of breeze. There's Camporelli looking to relieve pressure. Whitnell. Umpire calls play on, touched off the boot. They punch it away. Dawn Melbourne now a smoker on the left foot. Deep into the Melbourne forward line. Robertson and Hamill, but there's a free kick. The Carlton supporters loving that as Hamill.
Well, Jeff White coming off the ground. He should keep his eye on the play, though, because the ball's coming your way, Jeff.
And Dean Rice will have it. Chip it in towards centre halfback. DiIulio. Carlton need to set something up.
3 minutes to go in this quarter, and 2 or 3 goals either way is going to make a huge difference.
Murphy on centre wing. Been a bit quiet this quarter. His kick has gone long, looking for Silvani, can't mark. Good pressure from Brown, also Shanahan now. Matthew Hogg inside 50. Kick is not good enough. It's out of bounds on the full, so that tells the story of how this game has been going with their kicking.
Hamill's doing very well down there in defence because he is prepared to get in front, and a number of times it's gone forward for Melbourne. Gerard, the key forwards have been behind.
Well, he's on a player of like size now with Russell Robertson.
Well, I'm very impressed with this young kid, Nathan Brown. What do you think, Gerard?
Yeah, really good debut. He hasn't touched the ball a lot, but when he goes at it, he goes in straight lines and he goes pretty hard.
He took Silvani on before and spoiled him going for a mark. There's Uze now. How will the umpire see that? That's good. Well done. No, that's not plucking free kicks out of that. So there's Adam Uze. 10 kicks, 3 handballs. Outstanding first half. Steins, Steve Febey, Bragoni, quick kick, the bounce very important here. Whitnell waits at the back.
Done well in the last 5 minutes, Lance Whitnell.
He's gone to the back line, Silvani to the forward line. Here's Allen, should mark, but we can't. It's flicked over the back. Peter Dean ducks the head, gives off a hand pass. Darren Hume into an open goal. He's kicked it. The Blues creep closer, a point the margin in favour of Melbourne.
Good vision from Dean there, Gerard, the way he was able to keep his feet and then slip that handball out to the running Hume. So that was some excellent work from the Carlton defender. Good vision. He's got a bit of the Rhino O'Sullivan's about him, hasn't he? Wearing number 27. Well, the point the difference here at Optus Oval, just over a minute to go in this third term. Carlton again out of the centre through McKay. A couple of soccer kicks. Peter Dean in front of his opponent, Ingerson. Ingerson gets the handball away. It's rebounded. Now, in favour of the Melbourne side is Woewodin. He's brushed aside by Koutafidis. Bradley, good work. Smoker can't control a footy either, can Ronnie Giulio. It's another throw in centre wing.
The Blues have gone up a gear. If Melbourne want to win this game, they're going to have to find another one, because you think, Peter McKenna, that they're going to come out, the Blues, looking to make up for last week's 1-point loss after three-quarter time smoking.
And they played a brilliant last quarter against Essendon. Now there are a chance here. McKay, just caught. Matthew Hogg, Fraser Brown into the pocket. Silvani can't mark. Free kick.
Well, we declared the last 3 minutes as vital in this term. There's 34 seconds of play. Needs to kick this one, Sauce.
Oh, he's kicked it into Shanahan. Oh, Steve trying to get that extra bit of distance.
Still on board.
Yes. Well, did he take it out? I don't think so. He was out, but the ball wasn't. Strong tackle.
It's not a good handball, though, from Koutafidis.
No.
Put under pressure, Fraser Brown.
So Shanahan and Silvani, the two number ones, that'll be a terrific contest. But David Parkin realising they need something up forward. Here's Woewodin. Let's see what the Demons can do. The kick to half forward. Hamill again, front position. Oh, he is playing a quarter and a half, Aaron Hamill. And the Melbourne forwards, Robertson's got to get in front.
Ball out towards centre wing. This could be the last play of the quarter. McKay goes wide, finding Fraser Brown, but all too late. As the siren beats everyone. The first half of that quarter, Melbourne dominated, but didn't get the score on the board. They kicked about 1-3 and maybe missed some chances they should have put on the board. But in the last 5 or 10 minutes, the Carlton side started to develop some system. And with the likes of Peter Dean up forward, playing pretty well, bringing Darren Hume into the play, kicked a goal, but not a lot of score that quarter. Only 1 goal per team, and a lot of scrappy play. But at three-quarter time, it's Carlton 6-9-45, trailing Melbourne 6-10-46.
The start of the final term here at Optus Oval. Both sides, there's a point of difference with Melbourne in front. Both sides have lost an important player. Melbourne, David Neitz, Michael Sexton for Carlton. As the Blues kicking to the home of their faithful, the Social Club end up, and they're all pushing the back. Playing down here to Pearce at 50 metres.
And Jeff White has started at full forward for the Demons, being picked up by Glenn Mann. Gary Lyon in the hole. He's got Aaron Hamill.
So Brad Pearce, who spent a lot of time off the ground after getting a very, very heavy knock, a chance for a mark in front of goal. Uze. Koutafidis around the corner, a goal. Excellent shot. Carlton first blood in the final term.
Well, Cooter's been down. Without doubt, he has been well held today, but it only takes 5 minutes of the man with the Adidas boots because he can really turn it on. And Brad Pearce just bombs this one in. Silvani looked good. Cooter made the fly, a big tackle, knocked the ball clear. Round the corner went Cooter. And the Blues will be tough to peg back from here with a 5-point lead.
An excellent reply by Carlton with the first goal in this last term as Whitnell coming off centre half back. Could be the move of the day with the Michael Sexton on the bench. Now it's all Carlton. Matty Allen on the right foot. One-on-one Silvani and Street Silvani. Oh, what a great mark against Shanahan. Showed poise, strength, and just athleticism. Just turns himself inside out.
Well, Melbourne have let themselves down because the Blues have got the ball out of the centre 2 times out of 2. And Jimmy Stein's coming off the ground. They're replaced by Nathan G, Charlie Brown. But their game may well and truly be sealed with this kick.
25 metres out, 45-degree angle. Another one for the Blue Boys. What an excellent start for Carlton in this last term. 2 quick goals in just 2 minutes. They went about a whole 30 minutes without kicking a goal from the second and third terms. That's what it's all about, isn't it, Pete?
Well, it's made a big difference too. Whitnell going to the back line and Silvani to the forward line. He had to bite the bullet. David Parkin.
They pushed Jeff White into the ruck. They've conceded that they need first hands on the ball. A dud bounce.
So the Blues will be feeling pretty confident now. Here's Todd Viney, who's worked overtime in this game. He bends it back to the half-forward line. They need a quick reply. Smokers after Ronnie DiIulio. He'll go for the line. You can bet on that. And over it goes outside 50, but down the Melbourne forward end. I'll need a big quarter here from Gary Lyon because Neitz is off the ground.
DiIulio had 7 kicks in the 3rd term. He was fantastic for the Blues, and his pace has certainly helped him in the middle.
Allen to Fraser Brown. Here's Camporelli. Onto the left, he brings it to centre wing. It's flicked over the back. Now, Jeff White with a chance. They've got to transfer play here and get the loose man going. Steve Febey.
He's got Brown in the middle. Too late.
So Stephen Febey electing to kick long to the half-forward area. Schwarz should mark. He's got front. Oh, he's dropped it. Just took his eyes off it momentarily. James McDonald. Now Schwarz. Schwarz bending it back. A chance. Courage. Oh, it was needed by both players. Melbourne in the van here. Oh, poor hand pass. It went wide from Anthony McDonald. Now it's a race for the ball on centre wing. A one-on-one contest. Ingerson, did he push him in the back, Peter Dean? Ingerson did well. Now he's got to hook it out to young Brown. He's got him. Now Brown can run. Good play, Anthony Ingerson. The kick, Lyon has not marked. Should have taken that one. Fraser Brown, he's surrounded by Demon players. Len Manton. Fraser Brown. It's wide of McKay. And that's been the story of the day. Players missing their mark with short passing.
Fraser Brown, good first half. Looking to get back into this last term. Set some things up for Carlton. Over White and Allen's head. Viney. Now from McKay to Brown. Brown's kicks wide, just inside the line. Out of bounds through the interchange gates. So it's now Carlton by 11 points. 6 minutes played in this final term.
Got to get the next goal, Melbourne.
Big left hand of White finds Ingerson. Throws it on the left foot. Dean Rice looking for the juggle. Unable to take the mark. McKay, hard work in the clinches. Rice, good vision to Manton. The Manton kick's a good one. Finding Matty Allen. He's got DiIulio at centre half forward. But Brown, well chipped in by the young kid. The first gamer pushing his body in. It's excellent work by Hogg, who tries to flick it back. Now Matthew Hogg again on the rebound. Caught again by Brown. Good work from both players. As DiIulio looking to go wide. He's got Dean inside 50. Can run into an open goal. He does, and he puts it away.
Well done to the old fella, the old Navy Blueman. He's played in defence for the majority of his 200-plus games for the Blues. And he's gone forward today and kicked a couple of vital ones, and none more so than this. Pressure on, needed an accurate kick, and through she went. And one nail has been hammered in to the coffin of the Demons, and this is a pretty important time now. They've got to respond here, Melbourne, if they're going to make this a game.
Well, a low-scoring game, and they lead by, well, just under 3 goals, so it'll be difficult. Look at White, the big... But Melbourne are starting to get on top in the middle of the ground. McKay, Ronnie D'Elio, you can see the confidence lifting in the Carlton players. Bradley, play on, calls the umpire. This is Murphy, he can kick long, he bends it back. Silvani, Shanahan, well done, Shanahan. 2 players who like the body-on-body contests, and over the line it goes. So they would have to get the next goal, Melbourne, I would think.
They're in strife if they don't.
The 2 number 1s we just saw on screen. Now here's the big leaping White. Gets in a hand pass. Who will it go to? It's Hopgood tried to kick it off the ground. Camporelli, the tackle by Viney, a stay tackle. Brown receives from Hume. Up in the air to half forward. Allen! Yes! Gee, Melbourne have stopped Carlton coming home as they did last week with a wet sail.
And Matthew Allen pushing forward has taken a couple of important marks in this last term, both in the forward 50. Now it's up to him to convert. And with Melbourne kicking just 6 goals to the game, with a 3.5 goal lead, you can't imagine them getting back from here.
So Matthew Allen from directly in front should put through another one to the Blues. He's hooked it slightly. Oh, wait on the goal umpire. Well, he's missed. I reiterate what I said earlier. They miss far too many goals from 20 metres out these days.
It's only a ruckman, Pete. In your day, ruckman couldn't kick.
Well, ruck rovers I used to see playing with the Swans. They'd never miss from that distance.
Well, it's the Blues by 3 goals. As Brown showed a lot of promise from Melbourne as a first gamer. Sends it up towards centre wing and has punched clear over the line. Number 41, Nathan Brown with the ponytail. Good debut. 9 possessions, 4 marks. But more so his courage at the ball. Fraser Brown throwing himself in the Carlton side. Getting the ascendancy. Good punch from Camporelli. Murphy shepherded out by Ingerson. Scrambly play Uze, who had a sensational first half. Quiet third term. Now the Carlton side, look at them, they're in numbers. Leoncelli under the hammer. Onto the left boot, high, centre wing. Eludes Hamill, eludes Julio. Gary Lyon a long way from goal. Now to Matthew Febey. Smoker will be run down by Hogg, but gets his kick away. 2-on-2 in the forward line. Whitnell, Clever, Rice. Off balance, puts it out of bounds on the full, about 40 metres around from the Melbourne goal.
Is it fair to say that's where they missed Jeff Farmer, when that ball is kicked to that pack situation, Jared?
Yeah, well, he's been in good form, but only for one game. He was brilliant against North Melbourne. He didn't really play against Brisbane. He was ordinary in the first game against
But his pace around the packs at least might show some, provide different options as Smoker ignores the Schwarz lead. The left foot sends the footy in front of the goal square, but Peter Dean nearly has his head taken off. The ball play on Viney around the corner, but not far enough.
That was kicked 30 metres away from the goal square, that kick.
Well,
You put it into the goal
taking
square?
centering it, I suppose, a bit too far. Maybe should have landed it just at the front of the goal
pressure
square.
on, put it in the goal square. Anyway, it's 50 metres out from the Melbourne goal. They need the next one. Here's Todd Viney working overtime. Quick hand pass. Another hand pass. Schwarz, an open goal. Oh, has he got it? I think he has. They needed it. Great hand pass. Well, let's change things, Jared.
Yeah, 2 goals of difference. No doubt the Demons have kept it in touch, and it comes back to these centre bounces. Jeff White will be pushed into the middle of the ground once again. Good win of the football there by Melbourne. Phoebes have had very important days once again for Melbourne. They've just kept themselves in touch.
Melbourne's 7th goal. David Schwarz rather, with 3. Woewodin with the ball now. Matty Allen interception. Line putting his body in. Woewodin again. Tingay under the pack. Now they're throwing themselves in. This 4 points means a lot to these boys. Hard stuff. We've only got about 13.5 minutes left in the game. 2 goals the difference. And umpire Norton will bounce again in the centre of the ground. White, Allen, good punch on by the Melbourne side. Line, clever, trying to palm the ball to running forwards and midfielders. Now it's all Carlton. McKay to DiIulio to Whitnell. And Peter Dean on centre wing. Dean spending a bit of time up forward. He's had a pretty good effort with 2 goals, 1 in the first term and 1 in this term. Barking instructions to his teammates. White gets the front position. Allen using his body. Brown again. Getting a lot of the ball. Brown throwing himself in. So, Melbourne player under the pack.
I think the umpires have been terrific.
Tingay.
I think the umpires have been fantastic. The way they haven't just been plucking a free kick in that pack situation when the players are going in so hard, Jared.
Well, there's been a lot of half free kicks and they've neglected to pay those, which is perhaps an instruction from Peter Swab over the last couple of weeks.
Well, Peter Swab was a pretty hard, tough nut himself when he played. I'm very impressed with this kid, Nathan Brown. Look at that. He had a look at line leading. That was terrific for a kid. Here's a lead on. Oh, Smoker back. Yes. Good play. The Demon. Smoker was marked 40 metres from goal. But I want to get back to that young kid, Nathan Brown. Before, about 5 minutes ago, he took on 3 Carlton players at the centre of the ground. What a hard worker.
I think he'll get another game.
Oh. He is terrific.
Craig Smoker, he's a brilliant right foot kick, but as we saw last week in Brisbane, he is a natural left footer.
So Craig Smoker, I don't think he'll pass this one off, as he's tried to do a couple of times. They need this goal. Left foot. It is a good-looking kick. It's a goal. Demons are coming back.
Well, that's what this game needed for those neutral supporters who want a cliff-hanging finish. We've got one. Just 6 points of difference now. Ball goes back to the middle of the ground. James McDonald, number 35 for the Demons, coming off the ground. Anthony McDonald, I should say. And he's been replaced by Guy Rigoni.
Has Jeff White made the difference, Gerald?
Well, I think he's given them first hand on the ball, but often the ball has just been hitting that turf wicket area, and it's been a scramble of players. It's desperation stakes now, and maybe a touch of luck is required in the middle of the ground.
We've played 14 minutes of the final term. We've had 5 goals kicked. 3 to Carlton and 2 to Melbourne. It's Carlton by 6 points.
He's tough at the centre bounce, isn't he?
It's like the purebred bull. He is just charging at these ones.
Fantastic.
There's no time for finessing in the middle. It's just get the ball going your way.
Umpire Mitchell will bounce again in the centre. Carlton's Allen and White. Allen with the left hand to Brown. Good handball, but interception from Ingerson. Gets it over the 50. Bit of manhandling going on. By Gary Lyon. Holding the ball's the call. Play on Melbourne. Handball over the top. McDonald puts it through.
And Gary Lyon's done it again with a great tackle.
He is inspirational, Lyon, isn't he?
Look at the eyes of Lyon. He can smell a victory, a come from behind victory at that. Scores a level, 64 apiece, and the boys are just rallying to their skipper of old. Now, just one of the veterans of the AFL. And look at that. Ronnie, you were gone. And a good decision by the umpire to play the advantage with Stephen Febey coming over and just laying it off. And McDonald, James, kicking the easiest of goals.
64 apiece. Centre bounce, so vitally important. Jeff White versus Matthew Allen. One a very tall player, one a high leaper. White leaps, beaten to it by Allen. A quick kick by Hogg, up in the air to half-forward. Silvani's got 2 to beat. Punched away by Silvani, in fact, on the forward line, off the ground, Camporelli. Steve Tingay, runs into trouble. Play on calls the umpires. Uze heads for the safety of the boundary line and puts it over 50-metre line for the Blues. Well, pressure on now, just over 11 minutes to go in this game. Carlton looked as though they're getting away. Gerard, the Melbourne show a lot of character.
Yes, it's a great side, great signs of a great side when you come back when you're just about buried.
Back towards the boundary line. Hamill, who had such a good third term. Look at the tackling with tired players. Oh, gee, they got that very, very easy. A quick kick up towards Murphy. He drops it. Oh, boy, that was close. Ingerson tried to get it. Silvani dives on it. It's a loose ball, but the umpire is electing to bounce it 15 metres out from the Carlton goal.
Oh, it's an emotional game. Scores level, and Shanahan and Silvani starting at fullback, now in the full forward position. Ingerson and Silvani. Ingerson down to Hamill, puts it through. The Blues are in front again. Quick work off the forward line, off that bounce. Hamill, the running player, the only one moving around that pack area. Here he is, he took off in the front of the pack, left number 2 in Tingay, flat-footed. The Blues are back.
Well, it's a seesawing game. Melbourne had the ascendancy, well, Carlton did, then Melbourne. Now the Blues have hit back. 6 points the margin. The bounce favours the Demons. Rigoni wobbles one to half forward. Player with his eyes on the ball. Smoker goes to ground and the umpire will bounce. It's on centre wing.
And it annoys you, Pete, when it's such an even game and there's no ruck contest because it's a dud bounce. It goes.
It was a crook bounce. Look, I'm an advocate of throwing the ball up in the middle to be
well, at
right
least
on
recalling the bad ones.
Yep. There's been too many bad ones this year. Here's Uze racing after it. Koutafidis is with him. So is Woewodin. He goes to ground. The ball spills loose. And again, I say sensible umpiring, because those players are giving everything and playing the tackles, and we don't want to see any ticky-touch with free kicks at this stage. Centre wing, Allen, Hopgood, he lost it. Todd Viney working overtime, a holding decision, not paid. Quick kick comes down towards half forward, taken by Murphy. Out wide to Fraser Brown, who tries to centre it. Hogg will be waiting on the end of it. Murphy, he gets in a hand pass. Hume loses the ball in the tackle. Holding the ball, says the umpire.
Red hot umpire.
I thought it was knocked out of his hand in the tackle.
Well, all you ask for is a little consistency. Liancelli puts that across to Uze. 14 possessions is number 15, a kick. Good left foot up towards centre wing. Gary Lyon over the top, can't mark. Still grappling for possession is Manton, Lyon, and also Porter. Lyon pulling off another sensational tackle on Ronnie Giulio earlier in the quarter, resulting in a Melbourne goal. Allen with the left hand, down to Ratton. Clever work from Ratton with the left foot, looking for Silvani, bad bounce, it's all Melbourne. Liancelli to Uze, caught by Brown. Silvani calling it, holding the ball up by Mitchell says it certainly is. You can have the free kick.
He tried to beat the man, didn't he?
Yes. Excellent work by the Carlton forwards. Fraser Brown could be a match winner here for the Blues. Had a lot of the ball in this first half of this quarter. 15 kicks, 11 handballs. His kick will land in front of the square, looking for the high flyers. One of them is White. Hamill can't control it. Tingay just kicks it anywhere. Relief of pressure out of that Carlton forward line. Foot race. Smoker and Giulio beats them both. 80 metres around from the Carlton goal. We've played 20 minutes. 4 points, 6 points the difference. One straight kick, 10-10 to 9-10.
Well, just under 8 minutes left. Rigoni is very, very impressive player. Here's Tingay, went in hard after that to try and get the hand pass out. Look at Viney in there also. It's slightly towards half forward for the Blues. They lead by 6 points. Next goal vitally important as Melbourne make an interchange. Anthony McDonald on.
Leoncelli.
And Andrew Leoncelli off. So slightly, as I said, oh, there's Allen. He's getting his hand on the ball in the last bit. Oh, bad hand pass. And finally, McDonald, was that deliberate? No, because he gained ground up by giving him the benefit, Anthony McDonald. So still half forward for Carlton. The Carlton Social Club erupted. They reckon it was deliberate. Allen getting on top of wide as far as hit-outs in this last 3 or 4 minutes. Fraser Brown gives it straight to Todd Viney. Tingay was caught high. Yes, no doubt about that. Free kick, Stephen Tingay went in very hard after that ball.
Left half back for Melbourne. Tingay has 3 to choose from, one of them being Woewodin. Doesn't let him down. Stephen Febey all on his own. Steady. Bomb it long into the forward line. 2 on 2. Schwarz. Oh, McDonald over the top. Oh! What a great mark.
Well, I was looking at Schwarz to take the mark.
Well, Schwarz was backing into it, but McDonald had the run and over the top of the pack with a one grab. Sensational.
Well, we've seen him do this before occasionally, young James McDonald. He hasn't played too many games, but obviously Neil Danaher knows he can take the specky, the screamer. But can he kick a goal under this pressure in the white heat of a close finish here at Optus Oval?
Well, he's about 20 metres out, but on a pretty tight angle. Walks to the right. Kick looks pretty good. I think the score's a level.
Oh, I think that was a photo finish.
He's done it, though.
I think it went through first and then veered off to the left.
It might have.
And you've got to pay tribute to all the players here today, Peter. This has just been a fantastically entertaining game. And the good news is we've got 6 minutes and 8 seconds of 42 players, 44 players slugging it out. In fact, it is 42 because we've lost a couple.
So umpire Matthew Norton will bounce it with scores level. What a finish to this game. Jeffrey White.
Good bounce.
First hands to the ball, very important. Viney against McKay. Hopgood hard at the ball. In go the Blues. Oh, it's a wide one from Ratton. Manton almost caught. Here's Rice. He can go over the top. The Blues will go forward first. Fraser Brown bends it back to half forward. Shanahan will come from the back. Was that interference? Umpire said no. Good play, Uze. Headed for the boundary line and over. Half forward for the Blues.
Well, a tackle missed down here on Glenn Manton could well prove very costly. If he had have pulled it off, I thought would have been in the Melbourne forward line. Now the Blues look to have the ascendancy just 70 metres from their goal.
Just under 6 minutes remaining in the game. Dean, cool, calm and collected, off to Brown. Now Camporelli can play on, outside 50. The team rule is kick towards the square. Seacamp can't mark but recovers quickly. Sends it up in the Jeff White direction. Gary Lyon hesitant a little bit. Now off to Smoker on the left foot. Has the leading Schwarz. One hand, can't mark.
Feet on the ground.
But a free kick, a push.
Well, he had so much space behind him there, David Schwarz. He perhaps should have done the Huey and ducked back, Pete.
Definitely.
Whitnell's kick over the top of both Dean and White, now allowing Tingay, first game back for about 18 months, a long kick up towards the square. Whitnell and Schwarz, good punch from Schwarz. Rice under pressure, can't afford the ball to go over the line for a point.
Ooh. But nearly
Demons are in front.
It nearly bounced back into the hands of McDonald then. But Demons in front, as you said, Russell, and that's the important thing. They lead by a point. Can the Blues manufacture something, get it up their forward line? He's Manton out wide on his own pinpoint accuracy. The Blues are off and running. Oh, Smoker was after him. He can put pressure on. Manton bends it back. The Melbourne players are there. Free kick, and it will go to Ingerson. Oh, that's a vital kick.
I'm not sure what Glenn Manton had in mind on that occasion. Maybe he didn't have anybody to kick it to.
If I was Ingerson, I'd be belting this 60 metres, but instead he finds...
Maintain possession. They've now got Jeff White on his own, just 40 metres out from goal, and that's where Gary Lyon's heading.
2 tall players. Schwarz also. Schwarz couldn't get back on Whitnell, and that is not a good kick because Jeff White was down the centre corridor. If he kicked it there, he would have had Schwarz and White to contest the mark. So it was not a well-directed kick.
Well, every player out in the ground just about dead on their feet.
Great game this is, Gerard. It's been a lot of skill errors, but the intensity and the courage shown by all the players has been fantastic. Melbourne still working hard. Schwarz gets in a hand pass. McDonald! Oh! Tapped through from behind. That was Anthony McDonald. 2 points in favour of the Demons.
Now some discipline required. The Demons have got to really get their zone defence implemented. They've just got to maintain the team rules, and vice versa for Carlton. They've got to find an opponent.
Well, the clock tells the story, just on 4 minutes remaining. So there's plenty of time. There's only 2 points the difference, so it only takes a goal for Carlton or for Melbourne can hold them off. Excellent work from James McDonald. Interception by Kuda Febey back through the centre. Could be the turning point. Nathan Brown showing courage. But it was Pearce. Turns on his left boot. Outside 50. Silvani. Can't mark. Shanahan. Strength. Silvani. Perseverance. Hogg. Quick kick. Now it's Pearce. 1-on-2. Good punch from Febey. Clearing the pressure. That was Matthew up to Stephen, up to brother Matthew.
He's got to maintain possession. There's absolutely no one running.
Well, he doesn't have to.
Woewodin giving him some run.
Could have kicked it long. He does. Now to Woewodin. Good pinpoint pass. Centre wing.
Great play, Shanahan up there on Silvani a minute ago.
3 minutes to go.
Good body work.
2 points the difference. Optus Oval.
Keep it to the boundary is the instruction from Gaddy Lyon.
Woewodin's kick is long. 2-on-1. Lyon can't mark. Now it's Whitnell. Maybe they should try and change direction. Just goes looking for the big torp. It's a bit of a mongrel kick. Good punch from Hogg. Gains 30 metres. Anstey, pressure. Stephen Febey. Now it's Seacamp, who's cool. Poor kick. Peter Dean. Off to McKay. Now the Blues are looking good. Inside the square. Silvani over his head. Pressure cooker up forward. Brown. Good work from Nathan Brown out from defence.
Desperation hands there from Porter on the ground.
Look at Andrew McKay. Now Kuda Febey loses the ball in the tackle. Look at the desperation. Fantastic. But a poor kick before the field kicking is just can be so costly.
Look, this is just pressure football at its very best. We are seeing mistakes being made, but we're also seeing those desperate lunges. That one from Porter, just a young player. He's on the ground. He was out of the contest. On his knees, he threw a hand in, and he gives Carlton a chance to reverse this scoreline.
I haven't seen a young player come into league football with as much guts as that kid is showing. Young Brown. McKay doesn't make contact. Oh, they went in very, very hard. Socket off the ground by David Schwarz is a very good kick. The captain's after it. Gary Lyon, the old legs. Lonnie D'Elio beats him to it.
Well done, Ron DeLuca.
Pressure situation. The half forward. Brown at the back. At the front. Hamill. Kuda Febey. Anstey. Can they take a mark, Carlton? No, they can't.
Who's behind?
Over the back. Oh, look at the tackling of Melbourne as Carlton tried to crash through the pack. Camporelli it was. Fantastic stuff.
Oh, 27,196 patrons here at Optus Oval are witnessing a sensational finish to what was an error-marred game of a lot of mistakes. But the intensity and the pressure of this final term has won everyone over. It's sensational stuff. Shanahan the punch now. Silvani. Uze or Rigoni close to the boundary line. McKay not quick enough to keep it in.
But that bounce could change the game, couldn't it?
Well, a minute to go. Still plenty of time. 2 points the difference in favour of Melbourne.
And every player in the forward half for Carlton. Every player on the ground.
Porter, Schwarz now in front of the pack. Offloads now. White gets a quick kick. Whitnell's there. Unkind bounce for him. Smoker's taken into the turf.
Good decision.
By D'Elio.
Good umpiring.
Yep. Absolutely no chance of getting rid of that ball. And wasn't that cool hands in a very tight situation down there.
Centre wing umpire Mark Nash calls time on. Porter and Schwarz. Porter with the left hand. Going wide. Maybe should be looking for the corridor. Stephen Febey head down. Quick kick from Tony now to Rice all on his own in the centre square. Good punch from Matthew Febey. Pressure on from Bradley. Matthew Febey off to James McDonald. Been a hero of this final term for Melbourne.
The kick to the open space. The race is on. This could make or break the game. D'Elio and Smoker. D'Elio kicked it off the ground. That'll waste time. I reckon it'll be hard for Carlton now. 20 seconds they've got. to take it from one end of the ground to the other and kick a goal. They don't want a point, they want a goal. 20 seconds of play. All Melbourne have to do is get numbers at the ball. Schwarz. Who's going to latch onto it?
The kid again.
Yeah, the young kid. Here's Lyon. Back it comes. Racing away is Whittle. They've still got a chance, Carlton. The kick. Oh, the mark drop. Melbourne going in hard. Seacamp.
4 seconds.
Hebel. Melbourne will win it. Uze. Melbourne have won the game. What a game. 2 points to the Demons. It probably deserved to be a draw. What a match, Jared Healy.
Well, it's just the greatest 10 minutes of pressure football that I've ever witnessed. If it wasn't a grand final, it was worthy of a grand final.
And look at Jimmy Steins racing onto the ground, Jared.
Jim Steins, every Melbourne player are just elated, and you've got to feel absolute despair and sorrow for the Carlton players that gave absolutely every ounce of energy that they had in their bodies to make this one of the great games that we've seen here. Just a fantastic game of pressure. The skills were down, as we said, but the way that each and every player went for the ball was just unbelievable. And to see a young kid, Nathan Brown, come onto the ground and take the footy in straight lines like he did was just an honour to watch.
Well, there he is there. He was fantastic for a young kid to come into league football, and the courage he showed. He put his body on the line numerous times, and little things like Shanahan spoil on Silvani up the other end when it looked like Silvani was going to take the mark. But Carlton themselves, they had plenty of players gave their guts for the whole game. A tremendous match.
Yes, this was just a sight to behold here, and look, I thought that the Big Ox did a great job in the final quarter. Schwarz, Lyon lifted, Shanahan good all day, and as you said, Peter, Carlton had many, many great players. Ron DeLulio also fantastic in the second half. Fraser Brown magnificent in the final quarter. But at the finish, it was Melbourne prevailing here at Optus Oval by 2 points, 10-12-72 to the Demons, to the Blues, 10-10-70.
This has been a Sports AFL.